is. Start your engine!
Red lights, green flag, all rolling. All the way out, stay in, come on. These guys are really good. Keep digging, put in the gas. Hang on, dude, baby. Not hit a thing. Why are you waiting so long, man? Bottom clear, shaking you down here. White flag, hit your mark.
Hey everyone, did you hear Eric during the intro?
I don't think they did. I don't think they heard anything.
Nope.
No.
They're saying mics are hot.
Mics are hot.
Oops.
You're talking to everyone there, bud.
Whoa. Let's not insinuate anything here.
Nothing bad. Hey, welcome to NWP on DAYTONA Talks. I am DAYTONA Talks, and I'm joined alongside Eric Estep, aka Eric with the hot mic, Estep.
Oh yeah, it's just the two of us.
Oh yeah.
And then we got our lovely iceberg who sunk the Titanic, Jarrett Lundberg, aka the best co-host for the NWP 400 that happened last night.
Yes.
I'm just going back to that iceberg comment. I got all but 5 of them that are down there right now. That was a year ago, by the way.
That was a year ago.
That's like too soon.
Anyway.
All powered. One of these babies.
I love how I said all powered and his mic went out.
Yeah.
Oh, he did it
That's
really?
funny.
No,
That's
little
funny.
bit.
For our listening audience, he held up, I think, like a PlayStation or Xbox controller.
It's actually like a Logitech gaming computer thing.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was powered with, and I'm pretty sure, right?
I think so.
Sponsored by Logitech.
I wish. Join up, Logitech. Get on the show. But anyways, we got to get into a way more maniacal race weekend I think any of us ever expected from Michigan. We'll talk about the crashes and stuff a little bit later, but besides that part of it, Tyler Reddick getting the win this weekend, guys. This is now his third win? Second?
It feels like he should have 4 or 5 wins because he's been in the mix.
Fun fact: he's
actually
2-0 in races where Corey LaJoie flips. Did you know that?
Wow. All right, that's a stat right there. Reddick has been so good lately. I keep saying this. His average finish the last 7 weeks is like 3.2. I think it's ridiculous how consistently fast the 45 has been. They just hadn't won a race. He's had his opportunities. Was a lap short at Nashville, perhaps. Was charging late at Chicago, made a mistake. Obviously Darlington early in the year made a mistake trying to pass Chris Buescher for the win. So he easily could have 3, 4, 5 wins instead of just the 2, but he is now the regular season points leader. So a really productive weekend for Tyler Reddick. Reddick also has 2 wins this year in races that his boss Michael Jordan attended, although I don't think MJ stuck it out for Monday. He was there at the start on Sunday. So
yep.
I just put some respect on him.
One of his bosses there, Denny Hamlin, though.
But people need to put respect on Reddick's name. I mean, the numbers this year are astounding. I have them somewhere. I think it's like he has 17 top 10s. Here, I do got him.
He has like multiple top 10s and multiple, not just like by one. He's like leading the top 10 and top 5 charts by several.
So, yeah, he's 2 ahead of the next closest in top 5s. He has as many top 5s as Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, and Ryan Blaney have top 10s. He has 17 top 10s, which is 5 more than Elliott and William Byron and Kyle Larson behind him. He's well up the list in laps led. Like, the only thing that he's lacking from any of these championship guys, is the wins. And even then, he's only behind Larson, Byron, Hamlin, and Bell. And I would argue that he and that team as a whole have been better than, I'd say, consistency-wise than all of them.
It's pretty crazy, too. Like, 23XI, I know they get data from Joe Gibbs Racing. Like, they are a key partner Toyota team, but this is just their 4th year. And the progression year to year, that first year in 2021, I know they got a win late in the year with Bubba. It was a rain-shortened win at Talladega, still a win. 2022, they win at an intermediate. Kurt Busch shows signs. 2023, Reddick gets to the round of 8, and Bubba gets in the drivers' playoffs. 2024, Tyler Reddick looks like a championship contender. Like Denny Hamlin used to talk about a 5-year plan to being championship contenders. I think they may be a year ahead of schedule. I'm not ready to say Reddick's the championship favorite, but if you don't have him, at least getting serious championship for consideration at this point, you're just not paying attention. He's been great. He's been fantastic.
Well, who'd you rank ahead of him?
I mean, you got to look at, I think it's to the point where Denny Hamlin's still really fast every week. Kyle Larson, he has top 5 speed every week. Whether he makes it to the finish or not is another question. I still think Christopher Bell, he has 3 recent finishes outside the top 30, but in all three of those races, he's arguably had the fastest car. Like Nashville, he might have had the best car until he crashed. Chicago, he was going to win that race until some weird shit happened in turn 12 and he got caught up in it. I guess Michigan, probably didn't have a winning car at Michigan, but a Toyota did win that race and he was in the top 5 for much of it. So like, I would argue Bell also is in that same group. My point is there's like 4 or 5, throw Blaney into the mix, who was going to have a top 10 until Chase Elliott took him out at Michigan. Like throw 5 of these guys, maybe 6. And then you just look at the matchups, like who's best at which tracks in each round. That's what will determine.
You can't count out William Byron in the playoffs. You can't count out the Penske cars in the playoffs because they somehow get there and they won the championship the last 2 years.
The only problem I have with Bell, and I'll put him ahead of the Penske ones for now, because even last year, Ryan Blaney, he was not the best team. They got hot right at the end. But like with Bell, he has 8 finishes lower than 30th this year.
He's tied for the most DNFs in the Cup Series this year.
And 6, I think?
I think it's 6.
And it's like they gotta tighten it up. They gotta get that consistency. I know he's pretty good at being one of those guys that is clutch, but it's like there's only so many times you can be clutch before that clutch gene just sort of like withers out.
Yeah. No, my defensive Bell, granted, he hasn't had his crew chief for 2 weeks, but he's made it to the championship 4 in back-to-back years, and I think he is faster this year than he's ever been. So I just think they straighten out some of the mistakes. They get rid of some of that. They shake some of that bad luck, and I would still put Bell as one of the championship favorites. And I still think if Bell gets to Phoenix, he is the favorite based on how they've run at the short tracks this year.
Let me see if I have this. I'm like opening up 3 different tabs at once trying to find the information I need because, YouTuber
information overload.
YouTuber no research. But I'm looking at, holy Jesus, I didn't realize that Tyler Reddick already has the most amount of top 5s and top 10s in a season in his career, and we're 24 races and a 36.
Yeah, that's insane.
Wow. But I'll read these off for you. So if you remember, Iowa was the last time he didn't really get a top 10. Other than that, it was Darlington, by the way, which he wrecked himself.
Yeah.
So these are his last. These are his finishes from Charlotte on 4th, 8th. He had that 22nd in there. From there, Loudon on 6th, 3rd, 2nd, 6th, 2nd, 3rd, 1st.
Yeah, those are like something out of the ARCA Menard series. That's like what a Venturini car does in ARCA. You know what I mean? Like that's
my Thunder career. That's my NASCAR 04 Thunder career. Like that's me on year 4.
Yeah.
But anyway, we can move past that a little bit. But let's talk about this a little bit. I want to move ahead. Kyle Busch was actually competing in the end of this one.
Yeah, honestly, he's worth a mention. I really loved the 2-tire call with about 30-something laps to go when we thought this race was going to end under green. Like, he faded to like 4th by the time the overtime started, but still, like, he was going to finish probably 7th. I don't remember exactly where he was running. That 2-tire call got him the lead with 33 laps to go, and he held it for about 8 laps. The odds of him holding him off for 30 were very slim, but he did hold the lead for a short period. It's been a long time since Kyle Busch was truly in contention for a win. Keep in mind, he also won his first stage of the year in stage 2. I mean, this is back-to-back weeks. Richard Childress Racing has put together respectable runs. I'm not going to call the finish to Richmond respectable, but the race itself for RCR was very respectable. So there's only 2 races to go, but it's still Kyle Busch behind the wheel. Like, if he stays focused, if he's still motivated, like that guy is still elite. So I don't know. It was fun to at least see the 8 car back up front for a time.
Yeah, as a fan, like it's just it felt normal. Like because I just whether you love him or hate him, whether you want him to win every week or wreck out every week, like you're looking at Kyle Busch for a good span of 20 years now. Almost every single one of those, he's usually in the top 5 or top 10, especially the last decade or so. And so it's like, it's kind of not normal to see what we've seen the last year and a half. So like for me, it was like, It's almost kind of, for me, I don't know what the right word is. Like it gave me like that warm fuzzy feeling a little bit, like maybe a little nostalgia. But he's racing up there with guys like Brad Keselowski too, so you got him up there. Like it's something I expect still out of Kyle Busch. Like Kyle Busch to me will never be that 5, 6, 7 time season winner again. Like I think that time passed. The best chance he had was last year, but he can still win a race or two each year. Like he can still get a few race wins in there, get a little bit into the playoffs, like if he's just given a serviceable car.
Yeah, and he's finally had one. All it took was for them to put the blue Lucas Oil colors back on the hood, and all of a sudden it looked like that car he won with 2 years ago at Auto Club, or a year and a half ago.
Yeah, run that this weekend. Maybe he can get a win at Daytona.
Give him a discount. Just put him on the car every week. I don't know. Do what it takes. Whatever it takes.
The $2 million discount on the agreement you make the playoffs to get that $2 million recouped and back.
Ooh, it's like deal or no deal. Do you take that risk?
If it works.
Misses the playoffs. All right, fork over the cash. The vibes were not immaculate enough.
But no, it would feel weird if Kyle does go winless this season, because he's never done it since he's been full time, has he?
No.
This would be his first winless season. Oh, Joey in the chat also says he's got cheddars on the car this weekend, so brings back the croissants for our show. So maybe there is some good vibes.
Win with the croissants, and I'll go get me some free chicken on next Monday when they do that buy one get one deal.
We're all Kyle Busch fans at Daytona this weekend just for the fried chicken. This show has so many running bits that keep coming back. That just keep showing back up. Jeez. Can't help ourselves.
Speaking of chicken, I know Eric was a big fan of that Canes car last night.
Absolutely. Wait, where did he finish?
Hold on.
I should have been paying closer attention to the end. I mean, it was mayhem. I think there was 30 something cars in that crash. Damn it!
Oh, Canes, you let us down.
Oh,
not in the top 10.
Rough. All right. Well,
foreshadowing
in the show. Yeah.
Back to Michigan.
What about that Truex yellow? But because this race was going to finish under green, and then we ended up with more overtimes. I swear, I need somebody with more patience and time on their hands to go through this season and recent seasons and tell me, is this the most overtimes in a single Cup season? We have to be on pace for it, right? 5 overtimes at Nashville. Then, if I recall, I think Pocono and Chicago did not have overtime, but then 3 straight races now: Indy, Richmond, and wherever we just were with the Michigan, all have had at least one overtime. It's getting old at this point, watching these Hall of Fame drivers just wreck their stuff with 2 laps to go. This week it was Martin Truex Jr. getting to the wall. NASCAR probably shouldn't have thrown the yellow. I will say that. But can we just not? I'm like Mr. Incredible. Can the race just stay green for 10 minutes? I just got done cleaning up this mess.
You want to know the best part? The top 3, when the caution came out, finished 1, 2, 3 exactly where they were.
Thank goodness. It did absolutely wacko up the playoff picture, though. But yes, thank goodness, in my opinion, the most deserving drivers still, for the most part, finished up front. That saved it for me, at least.
And I want to give an attaboy to Ty Gibbs, too. Like that looked like the Ty Gibbs I was expecting from the first third of the season.
I feel like win is soon for him. I don't know if it's going to happen before the playoffs, but I feel like it's coming soon.
I'm keeping an eye on a certain track in the playoffs for Ty Gibbs, especially if it's a little more normal this time around.
Is it one in this state that me and you are currently talking to each other?
It just might be.
Oh, Bristol? Is he good at Bristol?
He led over 100 laps twice
earlier this spring.
Yeah, I believe he led the most, if not close to the most laps in spring. He also did in his first start there, or last year, I think.
That's a good point. I forgot about his first start. Although the spring, there's got to be a caveat there, because he did not save tires nearly as well as his veteran teammates did, which is why
I don't think anyone knew how to save tires in that race,
but he's 21 years old. He's never had to save tires in his life. You know what I mean? Compared to Hamlin and Truex. So
now I need to go back and check, because I found out that I can. I learned.
Chris in the chat says he'll have engine problems. Yeah, just write him off. He's done.
Tito's comment. Grandpa, these NWP guys are trying to jinx me for the playoff.
I'll be like, I got my prediction right, but at what cost? Let me see though, because he still finished 9th in that race. Like it wasn't like he did bad. So he's run 3 races at Bristol in Cup. It felt like he's run more.
Bristol Dirt.
Yeah, so he led 102 last year in the night race and 137. He went out early in the 23 car in 2022 at Bristol, but he also was still running pretty fast that race too. Like,
okay, keep an eye on Bristol then. Why not?
Keep an eye,
sure.
man. Keep an eye. You gotta beat the other one to make with Jared Seinfeld.
All I know is Ty Gibbs. I'm not trying to sound like a biggest Ty Gibbs hater in the world. I don't mean to. Like,
he used to be very strong, and only a few years ago, I remember.
He's very good. I think he's obviously going to win a lot of races in his career. The dam is going to flood at some point. But before this race at Michigan, I think he had 3 straight finishes outside of the top 20. Like, he's been hemorrhaging points, getting closer and closer to that cut line. He needed a good, clean race. Maybe now that he got it, they've turned a corner. No more engine problems. They'll be fine. But he's just stopped the bleeding this week. I'm not quite ready to say, oh, now this is the month he wins. Like, it's one race. It's one good race.
I'm sorry. Like, I think of these stupid 20-year-old references. You ever heard the song Hemorrhage by Fuel? In my hands again.
Oh, okay. Wait, I do know that song.
Engine fluid in my hands again. sounds like my Creed
that was
voice.
That was the style back then, that like dad rock. Or does Creed fall under dad rock?
Now it does. I mean, actually, crazy enough, nowadays, like Foo Fighters, Three Doors Down, like that's dad rock now.
I mean, basically, to make dad rock, you just got to throw your voice like this and sing it kind of slow.
Sing it slow and nasally again. Anyway,
it's not for me.
Back to the ranch. Where are we going now?
Where were we? Do we want to talk about the big crash, or I don't know? We're kind of
which
all over the
one?
place.
If I have to hear Jarrett and I sing like that again, I'm probably gonna flip more than Corey LaJoy.
With arms wide open,
with visor wide open,
scrapes onto the wall. Yeah, Corey LaJoy flipping. It happened. We got 2 blowovers in one weekend.
Yeah, crazy.
At a track that I feel like we've talked about it, the possibility of blowovers happening at Michigan. I've talked about the possibility because sometimes you see how fast the wind blows at Michigan, that you're like, I wonder if there's a lot of wind and it, gets spun. Could that happen? Yes, it can happen. We learned that this weekend.
Yeah, basically the same exact spot, but with 2 completely different vehicles, which made it really interesting. I am no aerodynamicist, if that's even a word. But I do think the strong gusts of like headwind there played a role.
Wow, look how flat that car is.
He's holding up the flat underbody. Once it got a little up in the air, obviously that certainly helps, or doesn't help. That helps it take off. I should say.
Actually, no. I'll grab a bigger one for a better example here.
I got a bigger one right here.
Let's take a look at the out of the road car here.
I literally had it on standby.
Where's mine? Shit, it's on the other side of the room.
But this car here, I mean, like when it gets under, like it you would think that it's just flat because it's a toy, right? No, it's just literally how it is. Yeah. It's literally how the car is.
Kenny Wallace said it right. It's a turtle shell. Like it's just smooth on the bottom, and that's probably like. I don't think there's necessarily anything before he caught a little air that was too out of the ordinary. I think it's just the bottom, and I think NASCAR just has to address that. It's like it's not.
They added something to the window at Daytona. I saw just before we went live. I didn't read the full disclosure, but they've added some sort of panel, maybe. I don't know, something.
I saw Dale Jr. bitching about it a little bit, or he's like, "Cars been flipping forever. This is what happens when we go fast." Like Dale, I think we're having a different conversation here. We're not saying that we need to slow the cars down. It's just more like this is a new thing NASCAR needs to address. I don't know if you guys notice, he's kind of like getting into that old man yells at cloud phase, and it's really funny to watch.
Well, he does like 3 or 4 podcast episodes a week now, so he does need to fill the air with opinions, with takes. So he's doing what he's got to do.
Think he's run out of clouds. Too many clouds to yell out during the week, so it's just all coming out.
Yeah, I looked at the flip. I do think the wind played a role, getting the car initially up in the air, and then yes, the flat underbody helps just send it over the edge, so to speak. Denny Hamlin's comments afterwards were interesting. Like he almost would rather blow over than hit a wall hard in this car. He did just hit the wall hard at Richmond, and he said it hurt her shoulder pretty bad. I will say, like, after he flipped and he posted the onboard in-car camera, like the cockpit, oh my gosh, what do they call it? You know, the center section of the car, I guess the roll cage, I don't know, did seem to hold up really well. Obviously, like he didn't get hit head on by another vehicle the way Ryan Newman did in 2020. Ironically, that was Corey LaJoie involved in that crash. But like we didn't see the roof cave in at all, as far as I could tell. So all things considered, like this new car does withstand the really big accidents, I think, well. It's been the smaller accidents that it's failed at times. So
And
yeah, all things considered, I think they've done a good job keeping the drivers safe when things like this do happen.
Yeah.
And you was talking about the smaller accidents. Yeah, we saw, Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, they had issues involving the back. And I feel like for the most part, this car, they've done a better job of adding more crush zones to it since those accidents happened. And I always think about what happened a year ago with Ryan Preece in this race we're going to this weekend. That was just a freak situation where his car just got launched with so much momentum, and suddenly that grass stopped him to the point that he just was flipping so many times, and then just G-force of that is why his eyes were the way they were afterwards. And if he could walk away from that, that gave me a lot of confidence in general of this car in terms of it, having those blowovers, having those flips and stuff like that. But it is still, it's concerning to see a car go over that easily with no force. Really, Gregson and him barely make contact, and then he goes sliding, and then flips over. Oh my gosh, I'm laughing at Michael Waltrip in the chat.
See, I actually before that I have a saved comment here from Carsboy95. It says died in 2000, born in 2024. Welcome back, Elliott Sadler.
Well, yeah, that is kind of funny though, because he's had the Sadler. He had 2 back-to-back years of flips, or he had 2 flips in 1 year.
No. So in 2000, he was the one that flipped. He claims that he went higher than the catch fence.
Oh wait, yeah, he had flips that weren't seen.
Yeah, they're like he said NASCAR showed him a clip and said no one will ever see this. But it's like funny every time he tells the story. It's like an old dude telling a fishing story where it's just the car gets higher and higher every story. Like by the time this man's on his deathbed, he's gonna be like, I saw the Hubble Space Station one day when I was at Michigan.
I could see the curvature of the Earth out of my onboard.
The Earth ain't flat.
And then, of course, Pocono, we'll never know what he actually went through there.
So I heard from somebody, like they posted something on Twitter, or maybe it was Reddit or somewhere, who was like there and saw it and like described it.
Someone says NASCAR has that footage.
Well, I don't know if like they might, but like the sound of it is like he basically like flipped and went way in the air. He went, from what it sounds like, he went higher in the air on that Pocono crash, and he did it the Michigan one. I'll never forget seeing that video someone posted online from the infield. They have this perfect view. I mean, absolutely perfect. Their friend just comes up the motorhome and just grabs and goes, "Can you believe it?" Or their dad or someone, and it completely messes up the shot right when Sadler hits.
It was an inside job. NASCAR hired the man to make him not miss it.
But I figured that was a funny way to finish off the flip of LaJoie. There were more big wrecks.
And I guess we will talk about Xfinity, but I kind of, since we're on the subject of flips, let's talk about the Kyle Sieg one real quick, since we're on that subject, kind of get that out of the way real quick. That one actually concerned me more because it looked like the roof flaps didn't work on his car.
Yeah, I did notice that, because the roof flaps did work on Corey's. It's just because of the new car and everything, they're going to have to learn that ratio more, I think.
Roof flaps.
But Kyle's roof flaps didn't deploy, and that's very concerning.
Yeah, that's something that I think that does need to be looked at. Like, what caused it? Is it just the way he flipped? Is it that something happened during the race? Like, I would want to know the answers to that, just because
with Clearman getting busted for an illegal spoiler, you wonder maybe there are some games played. Remember when guys used to play games with the roof flaps on drafting tracks? I don't know. Just throwing it out there. I don't know anything. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't allege anything that I've absolutely no evidence of.
Okay, yeah, reckless speculation.
That was a good point, Jared. I didn't even think about that on the Sieg flip.
With that one, it's just you got to learn that, because this is something that's been in NASCAR for 30 years. It's the same car. That's like the one difference we're all going to look at. And I'm sure they will. Like, NASCAR's been pretty good at, for the most part, keeping cars on the ground when they can.
It's crazy. Think about this. This Xfinity car, this Xfinity body is, I think, the oldest car we have still racing, because
it's a COT.
This came out in 2010 midway for a few races. So that's how old it is. the truck did go for a change where it got rid of the splitter and to a more solid body. And after the 2013 season, still pretty similar, but it is different.
Well, and I think even later, I should say, than that, even because they remember they had like the itty bitty nose on the front, and then they changed it like into the end of the decade into this one. So I guess the COT ended up winning the battle against fans that hated it because the Xfinity Series has routinely some of the best racing. But
I mean, the Xfinity COT was better than the Cup COT, so
yeah, I'd say so.
It just looked ugly as the Impala, though. I'll say that.
Little bunny ears. Back to Cup though.
Yeah, back to Cup. Larson and Bubba. Bubba was my pick, and I felt really confident about that early on. And then out he goes, or damaged he goes, I should say.
Perfect timing, man. Perfect timing for Larson to do that.
Oh.
After the stuff with him and Verstappen going viral of him being the best driver in the world, Kyle Larson once like, again self-spins.
Yeah, I was wondering where you're going with that. I was like, we redredging up Larson Bubba drama? That's 2 years old, Jared. Okay, no, I get what you're saying.
I've already pissed off the Bubba side of Twitter once this week. I'm good. But
let's piss them both off. Let's piss Bubba and Larson fans all at once.
Yeah, why's your best driver in the world keep crashing himself?
Yeah, it was tough. It took out a lot of good cars. Bell was destroyed in that one. Bubba obviously got significant damage, really wasn't competitive after that. Chris Buescher was in it, a couple of playoff bubble guys, but Buescher was able to recover. Looked like Larson just, in dirty air, ironically racing behind Cody Ware of all people, just washed up the track and lost it.
I saw people blaming Cody Ware for this, and I'm like, he stayed out. Ow. That's it.
Yeah.
No, I will say this. I feel really bad for Bubba because I think he had the better car of the 2311 duo. I think his car was better than Reddick's.
It was on Sunday. Monday, Reddick surprised me. Or early on Monday, he struggled, but he turned it around quickly. I wasn't sure. They both had he had a top 5 car. And Bubba hasn't been as dynamic as Reddick the last few weeks, but his average finish the last 5 races before Michigan was like 7th. So he's been doing really good as well. Not quite as great as Reddick, but really good still. And he probably hit another top 5 run going before, just wrong place, wrong time. Huge break though for Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, and who else was that?
It really helped out Ty Gibbs. I'll say that.
One other guy, Ty Gibbs.
Oh, we lost Eric.
I think so, and I think I filled it in right when he finished up. So like, he'll be back.
It's kind of funny. Let's see if we can make that face he's making.
Wait, hold on. I can do it better. Sorry. Oh man,
I'm just shocked he's not back yet at this point.
It might be a minute. But he's right though. Like that. Those problems really did, I would say, bail out a lot of those guys on the cut line, especially what happened to Chastain at the end of the race, because he basically got, there he goes.
Bye-bye.
He'll be back.
Welcome to how NWP was when it first got started, everybody.
Yeah. Should we go back to the old haircuts and everything?
I can go back to the old weird camera position over here.
Well, but yeah, I mean, when you look at the way they finished, though, Ross Chastain 25th, Bubba Wallace 26th, one position, 1 point really difference. And by the way, I'm not going to readjust the window until Eric gets back, just because we'll just sit on the sides a little bit.
Yeah, this is fine. You can see us.
Everything's fine. But no, I would say that he was right on that, though. Ty Gibbs, too, really needed that. Martin Truex Jr., where did old MTJ finish? 24th. So that probably helped him, because if Chastain and Bubba had actually finished a lot better, I'm not saying Truex would be in trouble, but it might be within a race worth of points. And going into Daytona, I don't want to mess with that. Like I'm good. As it scrolls on the bottom right there.
I want to actually talk about Truex there for a minute, since you brought him up. I think, could be wrong, but I feel like that was the last racetrack where I felt like he had the best shot to win this season.
Yeah, I think the same. I think the same way. I really
I think
thought we
that
were
was,
gonna
I
get.
think that was it
I thought we really were gonna get Monday Martin.
because we got through Richmond and we got through Michigan without him winning, and I'm like looking at the rest of the schedule, and I'm like, he's never won on a super speedway. I'm sure he'd love to before it's all said and done, but in terms of this season, I don't know what he's going to do next year. But in terms of this season, I feel like that was his last race we're going to see him contending for the win.
Wow, this breaking.
What?
Jeff Striegel, after 27 years, will be leaving MRN.
Wow, all the radio people are just leaving now.
Yeah, he put on Twitter, I have made the decision that after 27 years with MRN Radio, this will be my last. This journey has taken me places and provided opportunities that I could never have imagined. I have memories that will last a lifetime and friends that I will miss dearly. See you in Daytona. Wow.
Is that where Eric went? Is he going to replace Jeff?
Maybe. Credit to Irvin Alvarado for putting that in the chat too. Good on you. Some others probably put in there, but I saw the link.
Like my goodness, I'm just thinking about how different the NASCAR radio scheme is. You're not going to have Doug Rice. You're not going to have Jeff Striegel. Claire B. Lang is pretty much out of it for the most part now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what she's doing, but
She's kind of been doing some independent stuff, I feel like.
the old guard can't last forever.
I mean,
Then meanwhile in the chat, yours truly, Chris says John Ramos should replace Jeff. If he's up for it, if they're up for having him, I'm down here. And John, he'll be in Milwaukee this week.
yeah.
He'll be doing the PA for the truck series, but
Yeah, and I know someone said really hope Dave Moody and the Bagman stick around for a while, and it's like, well, I don't know. They ain't getting any younger, so I don't know how much longer we got.
they still got that like fire though and energy. Like so, Jeff
Dave
Striegel.
does. And Dave almost feel like I'll have that same energy until his last day on this earth. So
Just be calling him out of turn 4. But I mean, he is great.
You can get him
Great.
fired up easily on anything.
Yeah, that's like I think his best attribute in the booth for sure. Like he has an iconic voice. I don't care what you think of. Honestly, I don't care what you think of really any of the radio people of what they might say on or off the track. But like, my God, the NASCAR radio has been rock solid. Of course, but the thing got to remember too is back I think like 2013, 14. I believe it was 2014 because I think I was in Washington D.C. when I found out about that, and that's the year I took a vacation there. That's when found out about Barney Hall. And like everyone, when Barney Hall left, whether it was 13, 14, I can't remember the exact year, but everyone was like, I don't know how it's going to go this way. It's always been this way. And that still solid team. So I don't want to take us too far off the beaten path there, but I figured that was probably something really big that we shouldn't have had saved for later.
Side note, Ready Go Fast said, if we hit the light goal and Eric isn't back, does Danny win by default?
Danny's got to guess it.
Not quite, because I still have to guess it correctly, because Jarrett can win if I don't. By the way, we finally have a message coming in from Eric. Let's see what he says. We're having an internet outage or something. Sorry, guys. So that's unfortunate.
Get it on your phone.
I had a feeling because of how long it took to hear back from him that they were probably having just straight up internet outage in that area or something.
That sucks. But let's if you're down, let's just keep it on. Keep it on.
Yeah. I don't feel like there's much more to talk about the race, but shout out to Carson Hocevar on a third straight top 10 finish. That's pretty impressive. I know someone, I think it was one of the super chats. We'll get to that later, but I think they were shouting out that he is now, I think, leading the Rookie of the Year points. So that's
franchise driver aspire.
Yeah, and I think it just also says a lot about why SHR needs to go when they are.
SHR?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Barry. Okay, I was
Barry.
connecting
that's his only real competition.
The Hocevar point. I was like, wait, is Hocevar going there? Yeah, I think the only other thing really to talk about is the big lights debate this past week and start times and all of that.
Man, Claudia was asking me on Sunday. We were out in Pigeon Forge, and she's seen everyone talking about all the drama of the start times. And she's like, "Did they used to do something when Like they would just start at a certain time. I'm like, yes, there was a time period where if it was an East Coast race, it would start at 1 Eastern time, noon Central time. If it was a West Coast race, it would start at 3 Eastern time, 2 Central time, just so it's like universal time. And if it's a night race, it would start at 7:30 Eastern time, no matter what part of the country it's in. And that just made so much sense. But then we let the TV people dictate what time races need to be run, and it's gone all wacky and Wonko ever since. And I'm like, it makes more sense for the TV people to have a time that's set up each week for NASCAR.
I don't think you guys saw that. Yeah.
Jarrett
A
is
fly
choking
flew in my
over here.
mouth.
A fly?
Yeah,
You and those dang flies, Jarrett, I swear.
It's going off the rail, man. It like went here and then here, and I was like, ugh. Oh man. But I'll say this. I think only if I know I'll probably lose the noon debate, but I think tracks like Michigan, Dover, maybe throw Talladega in, although I think the time of year is a little bit better. Like those are the ones like I think you need the widest TV window. The rest of them, if you got lights, you got rain tires, you should be fine. But
Welcome back, Eric. You just missed Jarrett's fly try to kill him.
it flew in my mouth.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
like
good.
went here and then. Yeah,
sorry guys. I don't know. For like 10 minutes there, it was like the whole place, the internet was down. Phone Wi-Fi wasn't working. I don't know what happened there. Just a weird. I'm used to little hiccups on my internet that'll shut down for like 5 seconds, but not for 10 minutes. So I apologize for that. Don't know what
It
happened
was
there.
kind of funny. You paused on just this weird face. You were
Oh no.
like that the whole time.
Like a caveman.
Yeah.
the chat's like this is unsettling. But we're on the talk of if tracks with no lights, and in my opinion, I added in no wet weather rain tires. Should have earlier start times for a wider window, like a Michigan,
Yeah.
Dover.
I think we've talked about this on the show in the past tracks with no lights should get a earlier start time. I know the networks want late start times for ratings, but like I don't know, at some point you'd hope they'd be willing to make a trade-off and say, hey, for these 4 or 5 races a year, let's go with the earlier start time because because more than anything, it's best to get the race in on Sunday. I don't know what the Monday ratings were for Michigan. I'm sure they were ass. I'm sure they were cheeks. So it would have been much better if you'd seen that race run from 1 to 3, let's just say, instead. But I don't know. Like I think I said on my show, if it's like until it actually affects the network's bottom lines, they're probably not going to change it. Though I say that, and NBC's going to full on side by side, no green flag commercials this weekend. So maybe anything's possible. Just keep putting the pressure on them, and maybe they'll make some adjustments.
I feel too, and I said this on the show, and I know like Jordan Bianchi and a couple others said, this is technically the minority of fans we're talking about, but like Michigan fans have been coming out in force. And like at the start of the race, I could tell because of the lines, which I do need to fix. They didn't fill the stands up too much to start with, but it filled in quick. And I saw some of the pictures from those at the track, some overhead shots. Like that place looked damn near sold out. It looked like it was more than last year, which was more than the year before, which was more than you name it. And it's like I feel bad because these fans, you've taken away their race, and now you've put them in an inopportune point of the day that they're almost insured to get rain or weather of some kind. Michigan's prone to this. I put that poll up of like, you have a choice to go to a race, and if it rained, you die. Which one do you go into? And it was like the options were Pocono, Daytona, New Hampshire, and Michigan. And of course, like Michigan was lowest because it's three straight years. Technically, someone pointed out 4 because 2021 had a rain delay. Rain caution, even though it was barely raining. 2019, I believe, one of the races was either rained out to the next day or rain affected it during the race. 2020, one of the races had rain. 2018, wasn't that Boyer? Was it 2018 or 19? Was Boyer's last win and it was a rain
18.
out? Okay,
Yeah,
so that one
think
did. So the last time we had a clear year was 2017. 26. I can think back. Like it's
I'm with you
normal,
though. Yeah, I'm with you though. Like I get that TV, you get millions of viewers on TV, you get maybe 50,000 in person, but those 50,000 in person are paying real money for tickets, real money for travel. They're spending the entire day fully consuming your product. They're not just someone fleeting on their couch clicking through channels like you do. I don't necessarily know if prioritize is the right word, but when they've had such a rough stretch at this specific track, I would like to see NASCAR and the networks throw them a bone and do something to more directly accommodate them. And if it loses you, if instead of 3 million viewers, you get 2.8 million viewers because the race was started an hour early, so be it. At some point, I would hope TV and NASCAR would be willing to make that sacrifice because these paying customers have just been through the ringer at this track in particular the last few years.
And it's statistically proven NASCAR fans in general on average make less money than other league fans like NBA, NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is their vacation. This is their year. And these are your biggest diehards because they're willing to take their only vacation they might get for a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe. And they're choosing to go to your event. A lot of them. And NASCAR tickets are not as expensive as other ones. Trust me, to go third level at a Vikings game is still more expensive than to be in premium seats at Michigan. But it adds up with how especially things are right now. Like you have to take care. Like the longest time, NASCAR's had this problem of taking care of their long-term fans, and at this, they had to change different things because different things change. Those fans go away or whatever. But you have to also take care of the ones now with something you can really fix. And I think somebody figured out that even with the rain, because of how fast they're able to dry the track now, they probably still would have been able to get about 170 laps in during
if they'd started at like 1 o'clock local instead of like 3 o'clock local or whatever it ended up being, I forget, they would have at least gotten halfway, no doubt. And that's not optimal is to only get half a race or 2/3 or 3/4 of a race in, but at least those who spent the money and the time to come out there on Sunday on the scheduled day got to see the race. They would go home knowing who won. And I think that's better than, 2/3 of the fans not being able to show back up for Monday, not get to see the winner at all. Like
and over half of them at home too, because I guarantee it's probably around 1 million. And I can check right now. I bet just off of memory, it's 2.8 million watch.
How many postponements? How many postponements is that now this year? Let's see. I know Kansas was postponed to Monday.
Daytona
was postponed to Monday, and this
was cut.
So what was that article, or there's a report a couple of years ago that Fox and NBC, or maybe it was NASCAR, said, yeah, we're okay with 2 postponements a year.
I got it right here.
Okay.
The Clash, Daytona.
Oh, yeah. Clash was moved up a day.
New Hampshire, Nashville was delayed during the race.
Well, I'm talking about postponements. I'm talking about Monday races.
Monday races.
I think there are 3.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to count the Clash, but Daytona.
I think you do count the Clash. So that's 4.
Daytona, Clash.
That's 4.
Michigan, and then
Kansas, I think, right?
Kansas was moved 3. Was I think a 3 or 4 hour delay. 2-hour delay for New Hampshire during the race. There was the race at Chicago in the same time of day was cut from I think it was 75 to 57 laps when it was originally the first year supposed to be 100 laps. I still
count it as being that day, though.
Yeah, but it's more just it majorly affected it.
But my point was, again, because here's the thing. We're preaching to the choir here. Fans all agree with this, or most fans agree with this. We're trying to convince TV. And what I was saying was there was a report that said TV is cool with 2 postponements a year. If we include the Clash, which I think we have to, or at least at 3 for this season, which means supposedly by their metric, they've lost money on that gamble. And that's all I'm saying is, and that's just Cup. And so I'm saying going forward for Michigan, the Talladega races, you name it, Pocono, maybe New Hampshire doesn't have lights, does it?
No.
For those select races, bump them up an hour. I mean, at the end of the day, you're talking about instead of 3 million viewers, you're talking about 2.8 million viewers. But there's a much better chance of you getting the race in on that day as opposed to showing it to 12 people on 11 a.m. on a Monday. I just feel like I would hope the networks would see that and say, yeah, that's worth the trade-off.
And sticking kind of on the network talk, I believe it was Denny Hamlin had brought up that he'd be okay if NASCAR took in a little less money to make it easier for fans to see, whether it's start times, whether it's more races on broadcast television instead of cable, stuff like that.
I heard Hamlin's comment, and he kind of argued for and against himself because like his point was take less money to get more races on big networks so they're exposed to the largest audience. But if you want to expose your sport to the largest audience, you go with the late start time. That's not a 1 p.m. start. That's a 3 p.m. start to get the largest.
Well,
So he was sort of like I think he was
Mhm.
unfortunately conflating two things and it didn't
But
quite correlate.
And also, isn't there an issue of like the teams wanting more money from NASCAR from
Yeah.
PTL, so then they're saying take less money? It makes no sense.
But what I'll say is this, and I think this is I think the better argument here. Do you take the late start on cable or the 1 p.m. start on broadcast television? Do you take a 3:00 Kansas race on FS1, or you do take a 1:00 Darlington race on Big Fox?
So
That's
you're
your
asking
trade-off.
but that's now the networks aren't trading anything off. The networks are going to demand a huge discount because now you're not only telling them to, hey, accept a smaller
But they're paying
audience,
less,
but
though.
also that's what I'm saying, but they would be paying way less. We're not talking about like a 5 to 10% decrease. They would probably ask for a 40% decrease in what they're paying now.
Not for
and then
one race.
if we're just
If
talking
this
about like
is
a couple
one
of
race,
races.
because what we're going to
Okay.
now is that we're going to have 5 races on Big Fox and 4 on Big NBC compared to currently 10 on Big Fox and I believe
like
9
7 or 8.
on, it might be actually 7 or 6 or 7 on NBC.
I see what you're saying. For select races, then yes. I thought you were talking about more broadly speaking. That would be tough. But
I guarantee you that's why they're moving Talladega later in the playoffs. Not because they really want it too much craziness the more I think about it, but because you have 4 NBC races. You want to have that run up to the championship. But at the same time, you don't want most of those races being on USA Network. Talladega is the biggest draw you can get leading into Martinsville, which I think will be changed because nobody watches Martinsville on TV. It's a sad fact. Into the finale, whether it be Phoenix, Homestead, Kansas, fingers crossed one day. I think there's so many different aspects of the ratings side of it and the TV side. I know people get bored with it, but it's so interesting to me that people, one in the industry will tell you to shut up about it if it's not exactly what they want to promote out there, like the ratings being up. But 2, people get on you like, why are you interested in this? Why wouldn't I be interested in how I consume the sport I love the most for the next 7 to 10 years? Sorry, I know I get on these tangents. I apologize.
No, that's a perfect place to segue. Actually, you said a few things. You talked about ratings. You talked about shut up, and that kind of gives us the shut up about all this. And let's move on to talk about the other stuff. There is no TV ratings to talk about, unfortunately, from this race because it happened on Monday. But we can talk about the playoff stats and all that. So we have 2 races to go. The playoff cut line is coming up soon. Jarrett, do you got the stat? You got the graphic for that?
Yeah, I got that one, and I got for the regular season championship coming up in a moment. We got multiple graphics this week. We're on it. But yeah, I mean, it's tightening up. I'll say this: like 4 weeks ago, would you have believed if anyone said, "Yeah, Bubba Wallace in 1 week could pass Ross Chastain, Chris Buescher, and Ty Gibbs"?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Wallace was in for most of the race at Michigan, for the first half of it at least. It's tight.
He was like -7 at one point, so to come out only -1 is pretty solid, in my opinion. Though, I think Eric froze again. This time he's in deep thought,
thinking about who gets in next. No, he's there.
He's back. He's back.
I would say you're asking who gets in next.
Sure.
I mean, I missed the question, unfortunately. Bubba Wallace is going to be great at Daytona. He's going to probably be okay at Darlington. So this is a big weekend.
He's actually not too bad at Darlington.
No, I mean, his teammate almost won. I'm sure he could be good. I wouldn't bet on him being better than like 8th there.
That might be all it needs.
We are losing
Daytona's a
big time this week.
I think we're going back to a season 1 throwback.
Well, I'll go ahead and say my stuff here. I think Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace both are in danger of missing this playoff, unfortunately, especially if who I predict to win will win. We'll get to that later, though. But I think they're both in danger of missing this playoff.
I'll say this though. I mean, Truex I think is pretty good to go. All it takes is one crash at Daytona and the right people finishing up front for it to go haywire. And I'm not saying it will, just saying that it's like seems to always go wrong for Truex since last year's playoff. We do have another cut line or point thing to look at though.
Yeah. By the way, Eric, you are on a damaged internet clock right now.
I'm embarrassed. I'm really sorry, guys.
He's on the instead of the DVP, it's the DIP. It's a dip.
I don't know what. I just don't know what's going on tonight. I'm gonna have to make some phone call. I'm not gonna make phone. Who am I gonna call? Fucking AT&T.
Who you gonna
Ghostbusters.
call?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Hey, TNT.
Who do I? I don't even know who I have for internet. I actually don't even know. Is it AT&T here? I don't know. It's all a monopoly.
Eric don't even know who he pays each month. It just goes.
I didn't have a choice. It's whoever they have the hookups for here. It's whoever has the fiber. I think it's AT&T here. So
Well, let's talk about the regular season standings, Jarrett.
Yeah, we got 4 that are still up for the regular season championship. It's Tyler Reddick, 10 points over Chase Elliott, and then 28 to Denny Hamlin, 32 to Kyle Larson heading into Daytona. That's a big yikes. But, I mean, Denny Hamlin, great super speedway driver, really good at Darlington. Chase Elliott, same thing. Tyler Reddick, I don't think is known for super speedways, but very good at Darlington. Kyle Larson just needs to survive, very good at Darlington. I think it's interesting.
Kyle Larson at Daytona, and plus with just what happened at Michigan, I ain't gonna trust him to come out as a regular season champion right now.
No, I think it's probably going to be Reddick at this point. If he doesn't get crashed out this weekend, I will almost guarantee it'll be him.
it's amazing how one spin, one crash took Larson from probably being the regular season championship favorite to now like there's no chance. Like, right? There's no chance he wins it, right? He's 32 points back with 2 races to go, and he has 3 guys to clear who are all fast. Like, he's not getting it. And that's going to cost him at least a couple of playoff points once it's all said and done.
Yeah.
This is a weird night, guys. My phone just fell out of nowhere. Just a weird night.
That is weird. What's not weird, though, is our famous poll. How did people enjoy this race? Yeah, poll.
Poll.
Who got the poll this weekend?
Poll.
We had 12,000 people who voted on Jarrett's poll this week. 21% people said this is a great race. 61% people said this is a good race. Overall, 82% of you guys was pretty positive about this race. 14% of people said it was average. 2% said below average. 2% said it was just bad. So gave it a 4% negativity. So found the Larson fans. Got it.
Oh, comment time. The first comment. You want to take a wild guess after a rain race who the first comment was from?
Calypso.
Yeah. Who says, okay, I'm just going to break character to say this. Instead of seeing a race being rained out, like, why does Mother Nature hate us? I look at it as, that crazy Calypso beep is at it again. You can either break down and cry, or if you can, or if you can't, beat them, join them. And if we're going to suffer through all this rain, I'm just going to have fun with it in the meantime. Now back in character. So how's that NASCAR romance novel going?
I knew it was coming.
Jarrett, you don't want me to send the rains to Daytona again, don't you? It's Florida.
The rains are already there waiting for us.
Yeah. The bread man with the top rated comment here says, if I had a nickel for every race this year that Tyler Reddick won and Corey LaJoie flipped over in, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
Yep.
Let's see what else we got here. Noah Coleman says NASCAR decided to run a 350 horsepower package here next year. No. How about no?
No flipping then.
How about no? Vermonter says cars flipping will always happen no matter what. The wind helped that one. Truex caution was BS for entertainment.
Yeah, it was a questionable call.
Yeah, the button was more hot on that caution than Eric's microphone at the start.
Oh yeah.
Chevy Block says, why are Monday races always badass? They used to be the boring ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Martin Truex Jr. used to win them all, and he's known for winning boring races.
I jinxed him.
Monday Martin was thwarted this time around, and we got a pretty solid all-around race.
Let's see. USM says, I vote great because I was there.
Good.
That usually sways my vote as well.
Then Chris,
I would not say it about 2018 Talladega though.
then Chris here says there was a race.
Good. Well done, Chris.
Yeah.
No, we're back in the Olympics.
A lot of people said they didn't see it or couldn't see it because they were at work.
That's understandable.
Other people say they tried to vote at the track but had no cell service. That sounds about right.
Yep.
Especially for Michigan.
Yeah, track's in the middle of nowhere.
Let's see. I'm already at the gutter because we didn't have as many. Monday races don't have many comments unless somebody headbutts a car at 200 miles an hour like Ryan Newman. So here's what we got. Oh, great. This will be really fun. Totally won't get taken out of context and put on the wrong side of Twitter. The Randy Horton says this one. The 45-1. Where was his teammate? Way back there. They need a better diver for the 23 car.
Randy.
Big Ran.
Did you not say he was took out when the world's best driver crashed?
I just like the fact that he was trying to own him and he couldn't spell driver. Cliff here says, do away with Michigan. No lights, lousy weather, and Detroit no longer cares about NASCAR. Relocated to Nashville Superspeedway.
Just relocate the track to Nashville Superspeedway.
What if we take Michigan and move it somewhere else?
It's like, okay, we're just going to put the track on the outside of the current Nashville Superspeedway because it's just big enough to fit around it.
Hey, I mean, they both have traffic problems. It'll fit. And then Ghosty says, all that for a Mickey win. Crazy. Mickey win has been so overused in this community, like NASCAR in general. Like everything
there's just misuse. Like you could call if you wanted to stick with the meme, you could call Logano's win at Nashville a Mickey win because it took 5 overtimes.
Chicago win because it was shortened to Mickey win.
Sure, but like Tyler Reddick straight up earned that win. Like he was clearly the best car at the end of the race. Like what? Yeah. What? Huh? What?
I don't know. The biggest Mickey win ever was Jeff Burton leading every single lap and winning at New Hampshire. Mickey
win. You could argue Reddick winning Talladega might have been a Mickey win because it was just a shoving gone wrong by McDowell. So
I'm just so glad that people actually are giving Reddick credit now. Because I feel like that Talladega win, everyone's like, well, he has a win, but is it really a real win?
I think everyone kind of like accepted it because, like we talked about earlier, he easily could have won a couple other races this year. So it does like even like when you say, oh yeah, Reddick already has a win this year, you're thinking, oh, it was probably Darlington, right? Coda, right? Nashville, right? Oh, it's Talladega. Well, a win's a win. Like he seems like a guy who would have one win by now. So everyone kind of just was like, okay.
So, side note, thinking of that, Darlington, man, between Kansas and Darlington at this point of the season, Chris Buescher, he might get in, but he's probably wishing he had those right now.
I mean, how many points has Ross Chastain left on the table? I mean, between Texas, Nashville,
the double overtime hosed in this week.
He was right in there in single digits with Ross and Bubba, and now he's 16, thankfully.
Well, that's because Ross had his problem and Bubba had his problem. That wasn't the only race this weekend. There was another one. There was another.
Side note, we'll get back to this later. Someone just asked, we'll get to super chats later. Someone just asked, why do you think Chase has struggled since his injury? I don't call winning a race and being the regular season points leader majority of the season struggling too much.
He is second in points with a win.
I just want to pop this on screen right now after seeing that.
And that's pretty, that's bold.
He's struggling, guys. Can you believe it? I mean,
where's my 8 wins?
And my 8 wide racing.
Kyle Larson won 8 races.
Thank you for the donation, Rouser. We'll get into all those later. But yeah, I wouldn't call that struggling.
Damn, just called out this poor guy.
Xfinity race.
The Xfinity race. Wow.
Dun, 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 dun.
Justin Allgaier wins his 25th career Xfinity race. I feel like he's won more than that for some reason.
He's choked more than that, probably.
Well,
how many seconds does he have?
Well, I mean, think how like this year, how many races they gave away.
Phoenix, Sheldon Creed, right?
He had that Phoenix race won, and that was heartbreaking. Blowing a tire, like I don't remember how many laps to go. There were like 5, right? And he just just kills the outside wall.
Oof.
Well, let's talk about Parker Kligerman, though. He's docked 20 driver and owner points and 5 playoff points. Now He is only 16 points above Ryan Sieg in the Xfinity playoffs.
That's rough, buddy. That's rough.
Yeah, that's it's interesting because you look at the cars right behind him. You got a couple of junior motorsports cars who, are, I mean, obviously one just won a race, Daytona, Atlanta. That's the thing. Xfinity has five more regular season races. One's at a road course, two are at super speedways. Throw Bristol in there for good measure. Like maximum chaos for some of these guys on the bubble. Ryan Sieg has been super close to winning this year. Shoot, even my guy Brennan Poole is just outside of this picture, and he was leading coming out of turn 4 at Talladega on the final lap.
Yeah.
So if I'm any of those bubble drivers, even if I'm one or two spots in, like Kligerman, I'm not feeling great.
No, it's gonna be rough. I mean, God, I'm just thinking immediately like it's gonna be that difference if he misses it. Like it's gonna be like, oh, he missed it by within 20 points if he does. And oof. Ugh. Of course, at the same time, you look at Ryan Sieg and he's looking at like a splitter, and that's what he would have missed it by. So it's like there's
he's the Chris Buescher of Xfinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he could compete this weekend though.
Oh, absolutely. They have horsepower. I assume he's got at least one other teammate on track, maybe two.
Matt DiBenedetto will be out there, and he can be competitive in a super speedway.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You talk about horsepower; they'll have probably the same amount of horsepower they had this past week at Michigan.
Yeah, what do you guys think of the super speedway package in Michigan? It didn't, as expected. I don't think it hit as well as it did at Indianapolis.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back to it for this track.
I wasn't even a fan at Indianapolis of it, so like this one for me, I'm like, why are we messing with the best car in NASCAR? Like, just leave it be.
Yeah, that's fair. It just wrecked a lot of cars. I mean, some guys like Sheldon Creed spun out early, racing for the lead, didn't get damaged. Like some guys were able to walk away from wrecks, but we saw a lot of just big crashes. Obviously, one guy flipped, and it's like
Riley Herbst's spotter self-clearing him.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, that was bad.
I thought that was just a dumb move.
I'm just saying I didn't think the racing was that exciting, and you tore up more cars, which in Xfinity that does make a big difference. So I would. Indy, I'm okay with it at Indy, honestly, but at Michigan, and I said this a few months ago when they announced it, I think Michigan just keep the normal intermediate package.
I do think it was funny.
Didn't that take out both your all's picks in one crash?
It did. Mm-hmm. Took Custer out, Mayer out. I had Custer, I think. I had
Mayer.
Yeah, someone had Mayer. I don't remember who. Yeah,
I thought it was funny though. Even with the super speedway package, before the last caution came out, it was still going to be a fuel mileage race.
Mm-hmm.
It's still Michigan.
Some things never change.
Yep.
But that's about it for the Xfinity Series race. In all honesty,
I got your timer, Danny.
Yeah, we're pretty much right here at the top of the hour. So let's get into super chats, and we'll start now. Calypso, appreciate the $1.99. Look at the forecast for Daytona. You know what to do, Jarrett.
Please, Jared, I'm begging you.
If I just read it on my own, will that count?
Can he just read a page more and we call it even? Like
a chapter? Can we compromise in here? One more chapter?
You guys got to listen to it.
Bailey Riker, appreciate the $5. Watched the Daytona 500 from 2011 on FS1 last night. The fact that Harvick had 14 wins at that point and would win 46 more times from 2011 to 2022 is nuts. That is true.
That's a good point.
Because you would think that, he's been in sport for a while. He's probably reached his peak, hasn't he? Nope.
Yeah, wow, honestly.
Evan Knuckla, appreciate the $5. Rather than saying they crossed the line, NASCAR should say the line must be drawn here. Bailey Riker, appreciate the $2. Hocevar is now leading Rookie of the Year. He's past Josh Berry. Yep, we talked about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Spencer Purcell, appreciate you being a member of Danny B Superfans for 38 months. He just said that was flipping crazy in terms of the action this weekend. Yes, it was.
I know what he did there.
I got that reference.
CBB, appreciate the $10. NASCAR, RCR, your spotter is suspended 3 races for saying stuff he shouldn't. RCR, not to worry, Brett Griffin will sub for him. NASCAR, well played. You can have your spotter back early.
I don't know. Maybe just keep Fox News off for him.
Fred Dog 81, appreciate the $5. I'm suing NASCAR for fraud. Stupid permission slip didn't work, and I had to go to my job and end up missing the whole second part of the Michigan race.
Oof.
Bailey Riker, appreciate the $2. Again, NASCAR's biggest rival, finishing races naturally over this season for sure.
Not possible.
Like, just think if we could have just not had a caution at Richmond, everyone might like Austin Dillon, and he'd be in the playoffs.
It's crazy. It's like every race, the Toyota Owners 400, the Coke Zero 400. That number is just a suggestion.
Yes.
How many races have
Definitely
actually
recommend
finished
it.
at the scheduled distance? Very few.
And how many
Very
times? How many times too? I'd say majority has it not even mattered because the winner still ends up being the guy who was leading.
Well, yeah, most decent amount of time. Actually, I'd love to see a stat on that actually for this year. Because there's been at least 5 or 6 races, probably more, that have had overtimes. Who was leading when overtime came out or when the caution came out versus who won? What percentage of winners stayed the same or led at overtime?
Rowdy 8 Diecast, appreciate the $5. Shame that rain didn't allow me to see the finish at Michigan, but it was a lot of fun. Can't wait to finally go to Bristol and then Martinsville again. Those are all good tracks to go to. Hope you have a good time.
3
Yeah,
minutes.
have fun.
Where are we at in the time?
That's it.
Okay, I'm going to do 2 more, though, because I just want to end on these 2. Michael Walter, appreciate the $2. I like Danny B, but I prefer Danny D. And Fred Dog 81, appreciate the $2. Eric had to make a run to Raising Cane's.
Oh, I wish. Yeah, that's funny. Daniel Dye making his playoff debut this weekend, right?
Danny Dye, there he goes.
goes.
Gonna win it all.
Oh no, Danny Dye on the wall.
Phil, I'm gonna go a little outside the box on this one. I think Danny Dye is going to the championship.
I will keep a counter how many times he says his name. I'll do it.
I want to. That's
I'll be
a
like
funny idea.
I'll be like Goofy every week. I'll have to do it again.
Mhm.
Anyway,
One of my favorite memes on this show.
what do we got next, Danny B?
Well, Danny B, we have after that. I think there's something's wrong. Eric's been having internet issues, but there's something keeps popping my computer here. Talk about weather in the area. I think they're saying it's called a lightning round.
He's been struck. Danny's been struck.
Is lightning round?
Well, Lightning McQueen's put on some weight since retiring from the Piston Cup these days. So
You know what we should do, in all honesty, completely breaking the fourth wall a little bit on this one. We should just like have the lightning round instead of a thunder sound just goes ka-chow. We'd
I
probably
did
get
not think
sued
about that many seasons ago.
because we'd probably get
Ka-choo.
sued.
I don't know that Disney cares that much about
Every dime counts.
No, it's like they're super protective of Lightning McQueen out of all their intellectual property. Like that is the line you
It's
cannot
the
cross.
only one they haven't screwed up yet completely.
Mhm.
Next year, Rachel Zegler plays Lightning McQueen. So the NWP channel, by the way, will be we still put up all the episodes on there, so subscribe to that if you have not already. This was an interesting stat I saw from user Skyfall Camaro on NASCAR Reddit. They put that Bass Pro Shops was the sponsor of the first and last place cars at Richmond. This is the first time it's ever happened in NASCAR Cup Series history.
Oh wow!
Huh.
Well,
That
what did
Bass
they
Pro
sponsor?
Shops,
It's bound to happen eventually.
that like Bass Pro Shops specifically finished first and
No,
last. Or
that
any same sponsor.
Any same sponsor.
That's remarkable.
Interesting tidbit here. Alan Bestwick now is following the Prime Sports account, I believe, on Instagram. Might be.
I
on
saw
Twitter.
that. Interesting.
The Rusty
Could
Wallace.
be something. Could be nothing.
The Rusty Wallace Racing Experience is shutting down. So sad news there.
But the Richard Petty / NASCAR one still exists.
For now, yeah.
For now, that's very
Cryptic.
formidable.
And then we talked about this a little bit earlier, but NBC Sports will experiment with no full screen green flag commercials at Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta this season. To which I am immediately thinking, the ball's in your court now, Fox. What are you going to do for Daytona?
They're going to do absolutely nothing because they don't give a darn.
Actually, what we'll do we'll do extra commercials. Let's put them in the Indy 500.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Jeez,
Yeah.
They are too. Oh,
They are. And then, gotta have so many of these little things open up. Next week will be on my channel. August 28th. Be live at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I screwed up last week, to which I realized right after the show. I was like, oh crap, I'm an idiot. Next week we'll have Auto Racing Analytics on. I had said he would be on last week, but I mixed up my week, so apologies. But yeah, that is the lightning round. Danny gets struck again. Ka-chow.
Yay.
Watch your mouth, Jarrett.
Ka-chow.
No.
Oh
Time to
no.
lawyer up.
Yeah, I'll get Saul Goodman.
Well, Saul Goodman could help a lot of people. He can't help this guy here. Because Austin Dillon's team tried to go to appeals court, and it's been upheld.
Look at this. I feel like Lob City here. We lobbed it up to Danny there, and he just finished strong. That was beautiful.
It was that meme of the guy who just nails the home run. You just hear him go, gone forever. That was Danny on that one. Yeah, I don't think any of us were expecting anything. All they did was just like save us from an extra
statement about it afterwards.
Yeah.
RCR. It's like, what do you mean you're disappointed? What do you think they were going to say? Look at the footage and say, "Oh yeah, I don't think he actually meant to wreck him." Well, yeah, the spotter didn't mean to say
it. Well, the only thing that changed is we get 2 less weeks of Brett Griffin.
Well, you get many weeks without him if you just don't listen to the show.
I feel I am not shocked by the decision. I think it was the right decision. That's going to the final appeals officer, so the saga is not quite over. A lot of people are hating on RCR, making jokes or like, just give up already. Like, I get why they're still pushing it. You never know who might side with you. You push it hard enough, and if you get this overturned, it saves your season. Like, without a playoff berth, this team is finishing close to 30th in points. With a playoff berth, the worst they can finish is 16th. That's a multi-million-dollar difference at year's end. So I get why they are pushing this as hard as they possibly can. Do I think they'll be successful? No. But I get why they're continuing to fight, go down swinging, so to speak.
The timing of this appeal denial could not have been any worse.
Yeah.
Once that RCR should get Morgan and Morgan to fight this case for them.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's a beautiful crossover sponsor play there. Oh my gosh. They need to get a Morgan and Morgan sponsored car with like free Austin somewhere on it, on the deck lid, on the bumper.
They'd do it. I know they would. It'd be great.
Have that same whichever Morgan that is that's like photoshopped into doing this right here.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So how do you guys, we've already talked about it, I guess, but like,
we've ran it into the dirt, so it's not much more to talk about.
There's not much else to say. My thing is, I just hope going forward I want to see NASCAR make these calls day of.
Yeah.
The way I guess I understand it is they maybe had to wait until the week because of their own rules. That's a rule they should change for next year. Rewrite that part of the rule book. Give yourself the authority to make these calls in the moment so that we don't have to wait 3 days for the actual ruling, and then we have to wait a week plus for the appeal ruling. Like, you don't have to wait a week to find out if the last play pass interference or not was called. Like, you don't, in football, you don't have to wait that long. Like, these calls should be made in the moment. NASCAR shouldn't be lobbied by all these different parties during the week trying to get their way. Like, just have the stones to make the call, whether that's Elton Sawyer or Jusen Hamilton or whoever it is running race control or head of officiating. Someone with authority needs to make the call Sunday night, minutes after it happens, and live with the consequences. And if it's a questionable on-track incident, then err on the side of no call. But if it's blatant, if it's egregious, if it's obvious, have the authority to make the call in the moment. Don't send us through a week plus of guessing, of debating. Make the call right then. Let us argue about if it was the right call right then and there. That's the only thing I would change.
Don't make it to the point where, because I saw some people point this out too on Twitter, Reddit, my comments even, where it's like, well, hold on, NASCAR needs to wait for the 3 days that all the NASCAR podcasts will come out and give their say on it so they can gauge what everyone's thinking. Like, it's like, don't even give that leeway. Like, that people would theorize that.
It's just they I can't tell. They're definitely, I think, a little swayed by public opinion, no doubt. But it sounds like, according to what Austin Dillon and Denny Hamlin have said, who obviously don't see eye to eye on this incident, but according to what they've said, that, the manufacturers, the teams are all constantly lobbying NASCAR whenever there's a big penalty or controversy like this. It's like, don't even give them the opportunity to get in your head, get in your ear. Just make the call right there Sunday night. That's the thing that should change. That's the procedure that should change next year. I don't think we'll see many of these calls every season, maybe a couple at most, but have the conviction to make the call and be confident in the call that you stand by it, even if social media blows up, or if Ford comes to you all pissed off, or Chevy comes to you like, why'd you call? Like, make the call you believe is right and stand by it. Like, I feel like ever since, Mike Helton has sort of stepped away a little bit, ever since David Hoots has climbed out of the booth, it's like there's no one in these powerful positions who actually has, I don't know, has the authority to make the call. It's like everyone's looking over their shoulder like, well, is Jim France okay with this call? Is Steve Phelps okay with this call? Is Steve O'Donnell okay with this call? Let's consult with these guys. Let's consult with these guys. It's like there should be a couple of people with the with the experience, I should say, that are trusted to make these calls.
Well,
and I don't think that exists right now. And that's the problem.
Well, and that's because there's blood in the water. There's blood in the water, and these people that are lobbying the different calls, whether it be teams, TV, whoever it is, they know they can get away more with saying that stuff because it's not a Mike Helton, because it's not, for as much as people hate him, a Brian France or, a Bill France Jr., whoever it might be. It's not one of those guys that just rules with an iron fist or close to with an iron fist, and somebody has to step up, because if they don't, they're going to run rampant.
That's the thing is, when it comes to like making the schedule or determining marketing or different collaborate. I think then all the industry stakeholders should get involved. But when it comes to just enforcing the rule book, maintaining order, preserving the purity or the legitimacy of the sport, the competition itself, NASCAR should have the authority to make that call, and they should be confident making that call. They shouldn't be listening. That should not be, trial by jury. That should be a very select group making a strong decision.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much on the same page on this one here.
You know who isn't is the chat. They need to be gaslit a little more since they're 79 away.
I mean, guys, you couldn't go for the extra effort to just unlock it last week, but you couldn't like it enough to get to 900. I mean, we were going to say 1,000. We gave you all a break, gave you 900. If you don't feel like playing the game, I mean, you don't have to like the show. I mean, you don't have to like the stream. I mean, that's how you guys actually feel about it. I mean, we don't have to keep doing this.
It is what it is.
Is it working yet?
There's one more than when I last opened it.
Fortunately, we have 2 more segments at minimum before we get to the random driver of the week.
That's
so there's
true.
still some time.
We have 417 watching, so 400 theoretically should just happen.
Yeah,
What are you
just
guys
poof.
waiting on?
Poof.
What do we got, Danny?
Yeah, what do we have actually? A little bit of silly season news. The Haas Xfinity team has been put together, and I think the end result wasn't quite what we all had in mind.
Yeah, the Sheldon Creed discussion popped up in recent weeks. That one wasn't as shocking, although it is weird. It'll be his 3rd different team in 3 years. He'll go from a Chevy to a Toyota to now, I guess, a Ford. 3rd time's the charm. Maybe now he'll snap the 2nd place streak. We'll have to wait and see on
No,
that.
he's just going to find a way to finish second to Sam Mayer about 5 million times.
Sam Mayer to Haas is a little out of left field. He's been in consideration for a cup ride, it sounded like. He obviously was lobbying to get a cup ride, and instead he's basically making a lateral Xfinity Series move. It's weird because a couple of years ago I felt like he was a Chevy guy. He was in the Driver's Edge program, and I understand manufacturer loyalties maybe aren't as important today as they once were. Like, guys bounce between manufacturers and then come back. Like Chandler Smith went from Toyota to Chevy for a year. Now he's back with Toyota, and then there's talk he might leave again. Like, I get that there's not as much loyalty as there used to be, but if you are tight with a manufacturer, if they like you, have spent a lot of money developing you, typically they are incentivized to place you in good opportunities. And I feel Sam Mayer jumping from Chevy to Ford now, he's resetting with all new people. He's got to earn their respect, their trust. He probably has some funding, but like, I don't know. Is this going to actually help him get a Cup Series seat in the next couple of years, or is it kind of just neutral?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know the specifics on his deal. Someone said it's a 2-year deal for him in this series, and I'm wondering, yes, we know Cole Custer is going back up to the Cup Series, but what if he gets back up there and he's like, guys, I still suck. Go back down and just bump Sam up. You know,
I think the Sam Mayer thing is interesting because you're not going to know. We're not going to know right away. It's going to be a little while, but I think with Sam Mayer, where I'm kind of theorizing this is either maybe there's little things here and there like maybe he had like problems with JRM or whatever or whatnot. I think it's that either way he was probably banking on that cup ride and something fell through, because I don't see him, unless something happened between him and JRM and that, I don't see why he would leave a team that is arguably all around the best outside of Joe Gibbs in this series for a theory of a team that could still be pretty good.
Well, I don't know. Maybe let's think about it. Is JRM truly one of the best? I mean, they're one of the best. Are they at JGR's level? I mean, I guess one of their cars are outside the playoffs right now. Sammy Smith could easily fall out of the playoffs. He's only 1 point to the good. And Mayer, if not for those couple of wins, he's 13th in points. Like he's been very up and down. He has won. I'm like, they got speed, but like, I don't know. I guess you could argue Sammy Smith, Brandon Jones, maybe they just don't quite have it. Yeah, they don't have it. But
in general, I think JRM is actually, it's a bad batch of drivers, but I think they're actually past JGR's level personally.
But where I argue is like SHR right now, yes, I think is probably all around close to the same, if not maybe a little better. But this isn't SHR. This is Haas. This is a team that may not have Ford support the same way that it has it this year, that may not have the same funding next year that they have this year. Haas factory team is different than SHR. The SHR actually had to notify, I believe, North Carolina's government to say that 383 people were going to be losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Like this Haas factory team right now is a theory. And it's the first time that Stewart has not been involved in this team since 2008. Do we all remember how that team ran in 2008 on back with the 70, the 66, the 0 car, you name it. So like that's to me is where like I'm very intrigued why this move's being made, and I want to know what behind the scenes happened with the thinking of this, because the sponsorship's there at JRM. The support is there at JRM. The track record with guys like Noah Gregson, Josh Berry, Brad Keselowski, even go back to the Chance 2 JRM days with and basically the offshoot of DEI with Martin Truex Jr. racing there for a bit. Like the track record is there, and there's nothing major that it's changed there.
I think the reason for this move may be more coming from JRM side. They just announced Connor Zilish is going to race for them. It seems like they need something for Carson Quaffle, and I think now this definitely opens up an opportunity for him to be there. And I think what it really comes down to is JRM knowing, hey, no offense to you, you've kind of just been here for a while. We need to develop more talent for Chevrolet at this point, and it'd be better for your career if you moved on somewhere else. I think that might be all it is.
Well, Dirty Def in the chat says that Daniel Trotta says something did happen between JRM and Mayer. I don't know if that's...
I don't know any specifics there. I could all I know is when I read the press release and it was, hey, I want to go to Haas. I've seen what they've done with Custer. They've made him cup ready. I think they'll make me cup ready. I see a path forward with them. I don't know. Anytime I see a move like this, obviously there's
Haas getting you a cup car.
Well, I mean, there could be opportunities elsewhere within Ford, but I just look at that. It sounds like a bit of a spin to me. I don't know. I think odds are something didn't align at Junior Motorsports. Haas, Mayer has some funding. Haas had an opening. I think maybe the theory that time just ran its course at JRM and they have other drivers that they'd rather take a chance on now maybe is a factor. I don't know. I don't. It's hard to say, but to suggest that Sam Mayer just said, hey, Junior Motorsports, I don't want to come back. I'm going to go to Haas. I don't know. It sounded like he was pushing hard for a cup ride. And when that, I guess, didn't pan out, maybe he had already burned the JRM bridge.
Remind me where he was rumored to go in cup.
Front row.
Front row.
So what's the lineup with JRM at this point? Allgaier for sure, Zilic for sure. Is Sammy Smith staying or is he leaving? Because Brandon Jones is leaving.
Sammy's got pilot money. He can go wherever he wants to with that, in all honesty.
But has he been confirmed, though, is what I'm more asking. Like, is he...
I don't think so.
There's not been somebody, I thought.
There's the other question I have is Carson Quaffle. And I don't see Dale Jr. getting rid of the 8 unless they go to a 4-car team with the 7, 8, 9, 88 and just get rid of the 1. I'm just kind of thinking like if there's a spot or 2 still open.
I wonder where Raja can fit into this with the Hendrick tie.
I don't think he's ready yet, personally. I think he needs another year to like he got that win, yes, but like he has not exactly set the world on fire in trucks. And I would say this season in trucks has not been as wild as the last 2 or 3.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's Xfinity full-time Xfinity ready.
I think he should get some options. Like if the 8 car becomes the option car or something, and they have the 4 full time.
Give him a few starts. That absolutely would be interesting.
I ain't trying to wish this into existence, but I mean, Raja, if he does another year in truck, then he could delay his move to Xfinity a little bit more. Few seasons there, and then you get to the point of Alex Bowman's contract coming up that he could be a potential candidate for that one day.
I will eat a dirty sock on camera if Raja Karuth ends up replacing Alex Bowman at Hendrick Motorsports. That would be wild.
Not for the sake of him replacing Alex, but he grew up a longtime Jimmy Johnson fan. That would be an awesome story if he was driving the 48 one day.
That'd be pretty crazy. It would require Bowman to falter
a lot
so
would
badly
have to happen.
Yeah, Bowman would have to falter. Ally would have to can him, and then Raja would have to go on some meteoric rise. But that win at Las Vegas, we talk about a lot because, and we like Raja here. That's the one thing he's done in his NASCAR career that made us go, wow. I don't think he's done a single other wow thing in ARCA or in NASCAR. So that's why I'm like, I don't see both of those happening in the next 3 years. That would be shocking to me.
Someone said, write that down in the accountability log. No, that's not accountability yet. We're not doing that.
There might need to be some accountability for the drivers of where they're going to for the Clash next year.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, gosh. Bowman
Let's talk about
Gray.
That Bowman Gray. So it is confirmed. Bowman Gray will host the Clash.
The Madhouse.
I'm laughing at the chat. Someone said Danny died at the 8.
I saw that.
Yeah, sorry. Go on. Bowman Gray.
It'd be funny if Daniel Dye got like Planters as his sponsor.
Why?
Nutcracker.
Oh, yeah.
That took me a second.
That went right over my head.
Yep.
Anyway, I'll be honest. I know a lot of people are like, this takes the sport back 50 years, and this compared to LA, this is a holdover. Like this is totally a holdover year, maybe 2. They're already talking to Brazil about 26. They're already talking.
Didn't want to drag the show back out to California again.
Yeah, and my thinking of this too. And to be fair, I kind of like heard a bit about this last fall, because some people from like the short track scene, including the fairgrounds, got moved around to there. Good people too at that, getting it ready. I think NASCAR probably knew the writing on the wall, whether it be with the charter, whether it be with the TV deal, whatnot. There needed to be something given to the industry because the industry has been it's been like sandpaper on itself at this point, where it's just there's a lot of people aggravated about a lot of things. So with this, you take out the cost of going across the country or going down to Daytona a little extra. You more than likely aren't going to get a ton of damage like you would at any other track you'd race at for it. You can do it really quick, get in and out, done with it quick. You can help the old fans, put an olive branch out to them. Like there's a lot of things you can cross off here, and then you can be like, hey, we'll bring it back one day. Let's go to Brazil.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't even thought about all the logistical, like you said, extending an olive branch not only to some of those old school fans, but also just to the industry by and large, because the Clash at the Coliseum was a strain in February on all these teams trying to get ready for the Daytona 500. So that's a great point. Yeah. But beyond just the logistical stuff, the cars will put on a fine show. It'll look a lot like the Coliseum race, most likely. The stands will be packed because the capacity there is like 15, 16,000, 17,000.
I'll check.
It's going to be cold. But, I think that would only be a concern if you were trying to sell 100,000 tickets. Good luck getting 100,000 people to sit in potentially 40-degree weather. But I think you'll still sell out the stands. It'll be something. I agree with you, Jarrett. This is an easy bridge until they can do something flashier either in 26 or 27, whether that's Brazil, somewhere else. it's probably just a bridge to that.
17,000 with an additional 2,000 plus for standing room only.
So let's assume maybe 20,000 people at Bowman Gray. I did see one comment today from someone, and they make a good point, is now both sort of experimental, if you will, exhibition races are in North Carolina with North Wilkesboro, Bowman Gray. And I think it's good for this 1 year. It's fine. But I do want them to continue to push with those exhibition dates, do stuff that's more outside the box. Like the Coliseum was genius in that respect. I think Brazil would be really cool. If there's another international venue or another stadium somewhere in the States they could take this to, that would be worth exploring. But having both exhibitions in North Carolina, you got so many. I know it's the biggest, most populated. What am I trying to say? It's the most NASCAR state of them all. I get it. But that's still, there's a lot of races in and around that area. And it'd be fun. It'd be nice for them to spread some of the love around with these more unique dates.
I get that. I just think too that like the North Wilkesboro one for me, like that is, I think long term is meant to be a points race. Like that'll be points race. You'll move the All-Star race probably somewhere else. And I think it's okay for a year or two. Like if this is how it's going to be for like 10 years, yeah, you're oversaturating the market. And I still think, especially with the fact that it's all but completely confirmed now that Rockingham's going to get a weekend, Wilkesboro's got a weekend. But you're taking one away also from Richmond, more than likely to go to Mexico, which is in that same vicinity. It's
in that same vicinity, yeah.
So you're not. If you're looking at that like Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee base, I'd say Eastern Tennessee base, I don't think you're necessarily looking too bad when it comes either way on it.
Well, you're fortunate because like North Wilkesboro has 30,000 capacity. Rockingham will probably have maybe 20,000 capacity. Bowman Gray is less than 20,000. Like these aren't you're not trying to fill Daytona every week. So at least on TV, it's still going to look pretty good. I don't know. It's just for exhibition races, a year here and there is good for all the reasons you said. I just would like to see them be really bold with at least one of these dates.
I mean, if Brazil can't work, you want to get a speed weeks back, maybe. I don't know how much money you'd have to put into it, but New Smyrna as like a throwback Clash week or something probably is impossible at the point of where it's at now. There's supposed to be a lead-up race to it, and I did hear there's problems with the New Smyrna, I think modifieds race or something that was supposed to be around that time, so there might be like a modified race beforehand.
Let's just have them race modifieds instead.
I'd be down.
Congratulations, Ryan Priest. I went into Clash.
Hold on a second. I gotta check something. I think the dog is lonely.
Well,
I need to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, he's Mr. Lonely. He has nobody. He's all on his own.
Poor doggy. Well, Danny, do you want to move on to some reckless speculation?
Yes, let's get more reckless than some of those drivers this weekend.
Let's trash the place while Jarrett's not here. Let's go back to Google Hangouts. How does that sound?
Yeah. Okay, guys. We're gonna put the Zoom link in the chat. I just pasted it.
Well, oh, my bad. That's Danny's stream key. I just pasted. My bad.
Oh no.
Truly lawless.
He just wanted the door open.
Oh, we all?
He's just sitting looking out the window.
Well, you're just in time for some reckless speculation, Jarrett.
Oh, wonderful. I recklessly speculate he's going to bother me for the rest of the show, constantly being like, I want attention. I want attention. I want attention.
That's what dogs do best.
Yeah, oh, it's right on cue.
All right. Well, Danny, you want to talk about Kroger potentially going to RFK Racing?
Yeah.
Is that him? Is that his fit little nose I see?
Yeah. That is, So, Riss, any of you guys watch Ed, Ed, and Eddie?
Used to a little bit.
Remember when he'd be like, life has many doors, Ed boy. Well, Riss says, life has many doors, Rhett boy. If he'll show up on camera, there he is.
He likes his little chin scruffled.
Well, and it's funny because I can't show you on camera because he keeps moving around, but like if I put him up like this and pet him, he's got the crazy eye going.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll be probably licking me the entire show because he has no boundaries.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. No boundaries at all.
And by the way, chat, 456 of you watching. We're at 379 likes. That means we only need 21 more. So I don't want to gaslight too much, but I would like for us to hit that
9 plus 10
before we
more.
get done with reckless speculation.
9 plus 10 more.
So RFK Racing might land Kroger. Who knows what that means? The Geschechters were linked to Gibbs. Now I guess they're just like a hired gun. They've got their deal with Kroger, and it's like whoever the highest bidder is, we'll bring Kroger to you. And if Kroger signs on to sponsor like they have for Stenhouse the last few years, then RFK could get that third charter. They could have a third car. Maybe they get that charter from JTG. Maybe they get one of the Haas charters because
they were kinda
2311 and
saying-
Trackhouse still haven't bought one.
They were originally saying for a long point that they didn't want to get the third charter.
They want one, but they were like, we're not quite ready. But if Kroger comes in with $20 million, they're damn ready. They're ready to go. They're ready to rock and roll.
And let's face it, this would be a huge improvement performance-wise for what Kroger will be getting.
Most likely. And then did you see Adam Stern tweeted out Ryan Preece's name? Like he could be a legit candidate for this ride. That's a little
interesting because
wild.
He raced for Kroger for a long time.
He did
in his career.
I guess he left. This is why they say don't burn bridges, folks, because I guess he left a good impression.
Chris Buescher, a whole return.
Yeah,
getting the gang back together. Chris Buescher and Ryan Preece back again.
The glory days of JTG Doherty. I don't know. Yeah, it would be it'd be interesting. I don't want to say I hope it happened. I hope something happens. I think it'd be cool for RFK to get a third car. They've shown this year at the 60 they can do it at least on a part-time schedule. If they have a big sponsor, then I think budgeting for a full-time third team becomes a lot easier. And if it's Preece, if it's someone else, I think it can be competitive.
Really? And if something were to happen with JTG and their charter, what happened to that supposed big contract extension that Ricky Stenhouse signed?
That's why I think so. Riley Herbst has made some weird comments lately suggesting his deal for next year is far from complete, which, I mean, a month ago, Denny Hamlin was tweeting impressive after Herbst beat a Gibbs car at Indianapolis. So that makes me wonder if those talks have faltered. Like maybe a team like RFK has swooped in and offered more money for a Haas charter or offered some sort of alliance for a Haas charter. Like maybe 2311, who, let's be honest, isn't too happy with the current business model, nor are they happy with NASCAR leadership. Maybe they balked at the idea of expanding to 3 cars, and that's opened the door for an RFK with a huge sponsor behind them to swoop in and snatch up a charter. And that's what Riley Herbst, when he says, hey, we're waiting for things to fall into place, maybe that's what he's waiting on. He's hoping that 2311 / Riley Herbst outbids RFK for one of those charters. That's a theory I have. That's my theory.
The thing is, here you talk about 2311, I'm thinking of it like that. You know, hey, if they put out a third charter all of a sudden, like, is their best talent options right now enticing enough to want to put it out? Because aside from Denny Hamlin just straight up driving it himself, no offense to him, but Riley Herbst, Corey Heim ain't the most exciting signees they could make.
Yeah, well, like Heim is maybe another year or two really away from being ready. And Herbst, I think we all agree, you could be serviceable, decent in Cup, but nobody expects him to be great. That would be purely because he brings funding. And maybe Hamlin and Curtis Polk and Michael Jordan are like a charter deal's not even done. Like, and they've been the one team that sort of stood out from the crowd and been outspoken against the proposed charter agreement. So that's why I think maybe they've gotten cold feet. Maybe they're not sure, even with Herbst's money, that they want to make that investment. And that's where I see RFK swooping in. Again, I have no inside information. It just feels like that's plausible given the sudden news about Kroger and the mentioning of Preece and charters.
Get Kyle Busch out of the third-year option and put him in the 2311 third car.
Oh my gosh, now we're just getting it. Now this is reckless right here. But like Trackhouse still doesn't have a third. I mean, they're supposed to have a third car next year. They haven't gotten a deal done yet. Everyone expects it to be SVG, but until that deal is done, the deal's not done. So something to watch out for. But we did hit 400 likes according to the chat.
Congratulations, chat. You have done it. You have unlocked Random Driver of the Week. Congratulations, chat.
I swear I'm going to rename Rhett to Rhett, Destroyer of Diecasts.
Oh, who did he get a hold of? What did he get a hold of?
He didn't break it, but he knocked down my 2004 Jimmy Johnson red, white, and blue scheme off my TV stand. And he also, last week or 2 weeks ago, broke my '09 Mark Martin diecast. And yeah, I was ready.
Yeah, you got to keep them away from COTs. Those wings will break.
Oh yeah, I was ready for the dog to match the wing. I was like, Riss, take him outside and just leave me be.
He's in the doghouse. That's where the
Chad's
saying
like bad
comes from.
dog.
Yeah. I can fix it.
Riss out there is quietly good.
Get him out of my living room.
We can finally have some quality decor in here. She's just quietly feeding him other diecasts.
I wouldn't say that too much, Eric. One of the diecasts out there is your diecast.
Oh no! Stay away, Rat. Get out of that!
Don't touch the yellow ones.
No,
the dogs are colorblind, right? They don't see yellow. I don't know.
I think I don't know what colors they don't see. He's mostly a good dog. He just needs to, leave me alone.
He's a nibbler.
He needs no. It's just more. He gets excited and body slams things, and he does not know his size. He thinks he's a lap dog, and he tries acting like it.
Damn. What are the reckless speculation? New charter offer? Not. I didn't see this report. Is there a report out there that some teams may not sign the latest proposal?
Yeah, it's just more like
probably just 2311.
They offered another one. Teams, they're trying to say it's plural, but teams didn't want to sign it, and it's like, yeah, it's probably Denny.
There could be a couple in their court, but they're just not outspoken. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I feel
maybe it's Trackhouse too. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. They also, like we said, they haven't bought that third charter yet. What are they waiting for?
Trackhouse has also been way more in NASCAR's court and less critical of them, though. Like I don't see them trying to shake the boat too much right after getting in. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's maybe, 2311 and then
Richard
one more.
Childress.
Maybe.
He's a little pissed right now. He's a little hot under the collar.
Fine, you won't give us the appeal. We just won't sign your damn paper.
I don't know.
Pop is taking his ball and going home.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Someone needs to make the meme where it's Andy from Toy Story saying, I don't want to play with you anymore. It's Richard Childress with NASCAR.
Yeah.
You could probably do it with Chip Ganassi in NASCAR if you want to make it historically accurate.
Yeah, that is very true.
But just for anyone in the chat that was asking, there was no damage to the current Jimmy diecast. He is. We escaped.
Thank goodness.
We escaped with our lives.
Confirmation.
Our prayers worked.
Jimmy is safe.
It's like the only Jimmy car that hasn't been wrecked in the last 5 years.
You didn't have to say that. Jeez Louise. Blue Jimmy, cover your ears. This man is just going crazy.
Oh man. What else do we got? I think we got the fun segments now.
Now we're into the fun finale.
Danny, you want to lead us on in?
Yeah, sorry. Claudia texted me, said she commented about the kitty, so I was trying to see what she said. 400 likes. Shugs is ready to come on stream to guess the driver.
Oh, we got to beat Shugs, Danny. We can't let a cat beat us.
Meow. Oh, he's right. Dang it.
How did he know? Oh, damn it.
Damn. I didn't know anyone knew about Bill Meow.
But no, before we get to random driver, we can do the accountability session, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's get into it. While we're at it, let's put the finishing order. So we got this week. First off, prediction segment on this. Each host makes up to 3 NASCAR, motorsport, or show-related predictions. We can keep track of them each week, right and wrong, which are right and wrong for all 3 of us this week. Try and keep them concise, though. Me. I said that Braden Movick would make the 2024 NWP 400. I believe he finished 3rd. He led the most laps, too, so good job, fellow Vikes fan. And then I also said there'd be at least one blown engine in the Michigan race. There was not.
I'm shocked you didn't get that, honestly.
I am, too. I thought it was a layup. Eric, you said that 2024 would be the last year at the Clash at the Coliseum. You were correct. You said that Xander McKinney in the Canes car would get a top 10 in the 2024 NWP 400. You were 26 spots off.
At least he made the show. Good job, Xander.
Yeah. And you said an SHR car would lead the most laps in the Kabawabu 250.
Well, who's Riley Herbst's spotter? He's on my hit list.
Like, they didn't even finish the race.
Oof. And then Danny. You said that Austin Hill would give RCR a break and not make somebody mad at Michigan. They had contact with Carson Kvapil, but they were more confused than mad in that camp. So that one was right. We had to redact one here. You said not a single driver would attend or at least post that they attended an Olympic event during the break.
I should have said Cup driver, dang it.
Parker Kligerman was at one of the Olympic events. Ding. Prediction percentages
basically,
here.
I swapped out. One was true, one come off.
Yeah. Percentages, I'm leading with 41.18%, Eric at 33.89%, and Danny at 29.63%. All right, which means I lead us off on the predictions. To which I will say that Ford will lead the most laps this weekend in Daytona.
Oh man,
in the Cup race.
Okay. All right. I'm second, right? Yes, my first prediction. I feel like it didn't happen this weekend at Michigan, but most weeks it feels like there's some sort of controversy. I think this weekend Elton Sawyer will do a post-race media scrum after Daytona.
Considering we had 2 this past weekend, I'm going to say we will not have a car flip at Daytona this weekend. Then watch a truck flip at Milwaukee, but my thing's still true.
Fair enough. I'm going to say this. In the top 3 series, we're going to have at least one more first-time winner this year. Don't know who. Don't know what series. We're going to have at least one more, whether it's Ty Gibbs in Cup, whether it's somebody in the trucks, whether it's Sheldon Creed finally getting a win. We're going to have a first-time winner by the end of the year.
Jarrett stole my second prediction, so I'm going to change it. I'm going to call an audible right here. Ford is usually fast at the super speedways, but Talladega was won by a Toyota. And Toyota, they in that race, Toyota had a really good strategy going until like 3 or 4 of them crashed, and unfortunately Eric Jones was injured. But I think the Toyotas will be fast, so I'll actually say a Toyota leads the most laps in the Cup race.
And on the subject of leading laps, I'm going to say each RCR driver will lead a lap at Daytona in the Cup race, Austin Hill included.
Oh,
that's a fun one. Yeah.
I like that one. Let's see. I think Kyle Busch will drive a Spire or Spire adjacent car in 2026. Doesn't matter what series. Doesn't matter how long he'll drive.
Well, if they get Justin Haley, that's like their long. I don't know. Maybe he replaces McDowell. I don't know.
Truck series races.
Yeah, okay.
He didn't do them this year.
Yeah,
or did he? Didn't do them lately.
Yeah, he hasn't done one in a while. But my third prediction, going back to our start time debate earlier, the networks threw the fans a bone today. NBC saying they will not do full screen commercials over green flag racing at the remaining super speedway races. I think the networks will throw fans another bone next year. I think there will be at least 2 1:30 p.m. or Eastern or earlier start times next year.
Off the record, what tracks?
I think it'll be one of the tracks that we've talked about that don't have lights. So I don't know, New Hampshire, Michigan, Pocono, maybe in Talladega. Probably not Talladega because that'll be on like a big network.
I like how
can you guys feel that? Can you feel the cold front coming? Can you see the storm coming?
What am I missing?
Whenever we actually get a good start time, a storm's going to happen.
Oh yeah. Oh. I'm sorry. I was looking at the chat and it's just amazing. After only 1 week of running well, people are like, Kyle Busch is staying. I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
All right, my last one.
Keith Rodden, goated competition director, apparently.
My last one, Michael Waltrip will say Danny Dye's name 5 or more times on Sunday.
Oh my God, that's a layup. That is a layup.
Someone's got to keep track. I'll be keeping track.
Oh my God, Danny, you're just going for the prediction percentage now.
Here, I've noticed this.
I could have said like 2 or more times. I said 5. I mean, he could
say him 5 times in a lap.
To be fair, Phil Parsons says it a lot too.
Oh
God,
For a driver that shouldn't be near the front, to have your name said 5 or more times would be really impressive.
He did. Have you watched a truck race recently?
I mean, he's okay.
No, I'm not saying performance. I'm saying how many times his damn name is said. You're turning me into Jerry Seinfeld.
That's too many Seinfeld references for me for one night.
Let's caveat then. Let's say he'll say his name 8 or more times. That seems reasonable.
Oh my gosh! Now we really have to keep track.
Who will say it more, Mikey or John? Nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like every reference. I'm so sorry. I feel like every reference people have made tonight has gone way over my head.
No,
we're coming with
started
very
over my head, but I realized John is doing
Ramus.
he's doing the PA.
Oh yeah, gee, but like every I feel like it's like the 6th time tonight where I've gone huh, and then oh.
We're just playing dumb tonight.
No, we're just like going really specific. We're pushing the envelope of what
we should keep playing dumb and the random driver of the week.
Good segue. Good segue.
Good one on that one, Danny. All right, hide the chat. How'd you chat? How'd your wife? How'd your Kate? How'd y'all? You're getting everybody up in here.
Chat.
It is time for random driver of the week, where
driver of the week.
I will throw an unspecified amount of facts at these guys and hope that they can get it. If you're looking at the last 5 at this point, Danny, you have 2, Quinn Houff and Shauna Robinson. Eric has 2 in a row, 3 of the last 5 with David Reagan, Corey Heim, and Lake Speed. And of course, the dog is whining at the door.
That's a hint.
He can deal with it. He's fine.
Dog get the hint. He drove the pedigree car.
He went out. The dog went outside right before the damn show. He is fine. Plus, he eats late. He's a late eater. Shut it. You're gonna be. How many times am I gonna have the dog crying at the door compared to the ambulance going past outside? That should be the real contest.
A lot of high-pitched noises coming out of the iceberg household.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. This random driver is a New York native.
Okay.
Good for him.
This random driver's father was named Kermit.
No, but seriously, what's the second clue?
That's it.
Okay. Oh, wow.
This random driver worked in his father's Chevy dealership as a child. This random driver also began racing at the young age of 16.
You're washed. Too young. Too old.
Yeah, that's not that young by modern standards.
This random driver actually was an honorable mention in our collective top 75 drivers list last year.
Oh, what?
Oh, so didn't quite make the cut.
Made the cut for some of us.
This
random driver had an average finish of 14.2 over their career.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad.
That's respectable.
This random driver's first laps led in NASCAR were at Langhorne.
So this has got to be probably an older guy. If his dad's name is Kermit, has anyone been named Kermit in the last 70 years?
Kermit was actually a very popular name until the Muppet became it.
Oh, the thing that's unfortunate because see now I only know of Kermit the Frog. I apologize to all of the Kermits out there.
This random driver raced these numbers: 1, 4, 5, 8, 20, 23, 50, 52, 59, 60, 61, 62, 80, and 174.
It's like people named Karen now. I feel bad for women who are named Karen and in the modern day with all the Karen memes.
174, they drove that?
The 174 car.
I got no clue, man. I thought you were gonna just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was like,
This random driver has never been tweeted about by all 3 of us.
You're really going out in the boonies for this one.
Let's see. I'm like bouncing around the order of my facts list because I put together last week. Let's see. This random driver was banned for life from NASCAR by Big Bill France for racing in a rival series.
Man,
Banned for life.
I remember that happening. I don't remember many of the names that were involved.
This random driver raced in the MERC, aka the Midwest Association for Race Car, which would later turn into what we know today as ARCA.
Fun. That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
This random driver served for 2 years in the United States Navy.
Thank you for your service.
It's definitely not Jesse Woodgie.
Average finish of 14th probably gave that away.
This random driver raced in a Chevy, Ford, Oldsmobile, Mercury, Nash, and Studebaker. Stupid flies. This is a show that is hectic for me tonight.
I'm gonna throw out one guess because I got nothing. The band, immediately the name that pops in my head, and I think we've done this guy already, but I'm gonna guess it already anyways. Because the only name I can think of is Curtis Turner. Can I just throw that out there? I'll just burn it. Curtis Turner. Curtis Turner.
It is not Curtis Turner.
Okay. I think we've done Curtis Turner already. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Damn
I also
it.
think he's from the South, not from New York.
Yeah, I couldn't remember that. I didn't know.
Let's see. This random driver has only one NASCAR win.
And we almost put him in top 75.
This
Very interesting.
This random driver also stopped racing at the age of 18 to serve in World War II.
Oh, this is a really old guy. Okay.
This random driver's only win, of course, came in the Cup Series. By the way, we are quickly closing in on the final facts.
I got nothing, dude.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on this one.
New York? I didn't even know people from New York could get to North Carolina back in the day. Did they have?
It was Florida back then.
But how did you get to Daytona Beach? Horse and wagon? No, I'm just kidding.
Take the train.
I sound like such a child.
This random driver retired from racing at the age of 29.
Dang, short career.
So this is like a true pioneer. So I'm trying to think of like who are some of just the well-known pioneers from back in those days. But like most of them are from like the South. Like the Flock brothers. I don't want us to start naming. I'm not just going to start naming people. But like the few I can think of I know are all from the South.
This random driver is a NASCAR Cup Series champion.
One win?
Coming from the Kenseth fan?
He didn't have one win his whole career. Jesus Christ.
This random driver is also the youngest Cup Series champion ever.
It's got to be like, oh man, who won like those first few titles?
Like who won the first one? I'm drawing a blank.
I don't want to give away any hints.
This random driver won the first controversial NASCAR championship, as his main competition ahead of him through the season was stripped of all of their points midway through the season.
Interesting.
This random driver is also the only NASCAR champion not included on the 50 greatest drivers list in 1998.
I don't know where these people are from. I'm like tempted. I'm just trying to think of those pioneers. How many clues are left, Jarrett? Are you not allowed to tell us?
4.
I'm gonna wait a couple more, and I'm just gonna start naming drivers who I know.
Like the names that come to my mind, I'm just like I have no clue actually how many they did win or not.
Yeah, like
this
I'm like
random driver was 23 years old when he won his NASCAR Cup Series championship.
Can I just throw out there? I'll just throw him out there. Red Byron.
Is that your guess?
Yeah,
it's a wrong one.
I see. I'm just gonna start. I don't even know where he's from. He's probably from somewhere.
I'll put one out there to save Eric. Fireball Roberts.
No.
Okay. I don't think.
This random driver is the only eligible champion that's not from the last couple years that has not been inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame since it opened.
Oh, really?
Well, if only one win, I mean, should you get in at all?
Shoot, honestly, yo, that's a Mickey win.
This random driver was endorsed by Richard Petty and Ned Jarrett to be inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. What the hell is wrong with this dog? His separation anxiety is insane.
There's a dogs for you. So who won some? There's the Flock brothers. There was, I mean, obviously Lee Petty won the title in like 53 or 54, if it's one of those years. Who am I forgetting?
Well, this random driver is the 1950 NASCAR Cup Series champion.
Oh my God. So Red Byron won the first one, right? In like 49. So who was that? Oh my God. Who was after him? Herb Thomas? Oh,
yes.
No, I don't know who it was. That's Herb. I don't know. Buck Baker. I don't know. Who am I forgetting?
If it helps, I made a video about this driver. By the way, we went through all the facts.
Oh my God.
Danny has 2 guesses left. Eric has 1.
Sheesh.
Can you hear the dog or no?
Sometimes.
Wonderful.
I got nothing. I mean, I could just guess one of the names I just listed, but I don't think it's any of them. So it's whoever I'm forgetting.
Any guesses?
Just because you're wearing that hat and I have no clue where the family lineage goes, is it Ralph Earnhardt?
No.
I really don't know much about early parts of his career, honestly.
You guys got 1 guess apiece left.
I'm so mad. Who is it, dude? This is killing me. I don't know. Oh, I was gonna guess Ned Jarrett, but then I realized you just said Ned Jarrett talked about him.
I endorse myself.
He had way more than one win.
I think yeah. I got, dude. Who is it? I'll just throw out Herb Thomas. That's my final guess.
Eric's out.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna get it. But I'm gonna say this name just because it's a fun name. Tiny Lund.
And Danny is out. I actually said the first name of this driver earlier in the live stream right at the start of this segment. It's Bill Rexford.
Oh no.
Oh,
the forgotten
Rexford.
champion.
Literally the forgotten champion, living up to his nickname now. Oh my gosh.
I got one.
Good job. Yeah, he completely slipped my mind. That's bad.
I knew like the last couple weeks, I'm like, I'm getting embarrassed by how quickly these guys are getting these ones. I gotta up my game.
That was a good one.
I assume the chat figured it out a while ago.
Yeah. But to be fair, it took a while for the chat early on.
Damn.
Oh.
Ding dang darn. That was like the one like pioneer champion I could not remember.
Like I think the chat could probably definitely tell that me and Eric had 0 clue. We were just saying names that we know are old.
Yeah, I was just picking early stars. Good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was like the Flock brothers. I think are from Georgia originally, and then like so that's why I didn't want to pick them.
Snappy in the chat says Jarrett now has more career wins than Bill Rexford.
Oh my gosh,
that's wrong.
That's funny. Well played. Well played, everyone.
Jarrett on occasion does win one.
And you know what? The game's set up. I try to set up the game to not have that. In my perfect world, you guys go down to the wire 2 versus 2, and one of you gets it.
There was no way either of us was going to have that.
That name, yeah, it just slipped my mind completely. Tough break.
And now let's slip on into the weekend.
Yes, let's do that. We're racing at Daytona and Milwaukee this weekend.
Where did that come from?
Daytona
and Milwaukee. Some weekend notes. John Remus will be on the PA for the truck race at Milwaukee. SVG will be in the number 16 Cup car this weekend. This is Lee Diffie's first Cup race of the year.
Do you remember they said that it was going to be right after the All-Star, or not the All-Star, the Olympic break? And we're like, oh, we'll have Lee Diffie this week. They're like, actually, we're holding off a little longer on you.
Yeah. So that means Rick Allen just gone now?
He's Xfinity.
He's doing Xfinity, but only for the next few weeks until CW takes over.
Takes it. So.
But I thought NBC Sports was helping out this first go round for CW.
I think they are, but the press release said through Bristol. They said Bristol, I think, will be his last race, is what I saw.
Oh, wow.
So I don't.
So we're gonna put
That's
Jeff
weird.
Burton out to the world on CW.
Granted, I didn't. I walked away from my TV pretty quick after the race was over Sunday, but like, was it like they didn't acknowledge that was Rick Allen's last race like once, did they?
Mm-mm.
And honestly, there were a few times where it felt like they were quick to correct Rick Allen when he got like Rick Allen sounded asleep. That was probably his worst performance in years in the
Yeah.
booth. And it almost, I don't know, you almost made you wonder if there was some sort of issue off camera before they went rolling, like, a disagreement, like, because they didn't acknowledge it was his last race, no send off. He was a little off his game. The others seemed quick to sort of jump in and correct him. I hate to like sit here and poke holes in something I know nothing about, but it was weird. It was weird that was the race that Rick Allen rides off into the sunset on. It wasn't their best show.
Side note, Eric, you were having internet issues when we brought this up, but they announced it today that Jeff Striegel will actually retire from radio broadcasting
Oh
at the end
wow.
of the year. So, a bunch of people in the chat's already suggesting, hey, what if Rick Allen went to radio instead?
Yeah, I mean, Rick Allen's got a great voice. He still trips over himself a little bit. If he ends up at Amazon or Turner, he's got chemistry with Dale Jr. That'll work. If he ends up in radio, hey, he's got a great voice, just a great, deep, booming voice, very Joe Buck-esque. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
All right, and this is also the first race where no full screen commercials will be showing over green flag racing. They'll only be able to go to full screen if we have a caution. So you're going to see the entire race this weekend, boys and girls. Speaking of that, the Cup Series race name is the Coke Zero Sugar 400. It's a 160 lap race event. We're going to have 35 laps in stage one, 60 laps in stage two, and 65 laps in stage number three. Hold up, why the heck is that going on?
Yeah, I was like, am I the only one hearing that?
Yeah, no, that's
Full
not
field.
going off this late.
Full field cup race too.
Yep. Full field. The race is going to start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, with broadcast coverage on NBC and the NBC Sports app. You can hear it also on the radio on MRN and Sirius XM. Weather this weekend. It's Florida. It's Florida. High of 86 degrees on Saturday. Scattered thunderstorms, 50% chance of rain. But the rain chances do decrease later into the night. The defending winner of this race is Chris Buescher. Side note, I just realized, did we just go 3 races in a row where the defending winner was Chris Buescher?
Yeah, he was red hot last year.
Wow. That's crazy to think about it like that, because there was a break in between them last year. The Xfinity race name, we went from the Cabo Wabo 250 to the Wawa Wawa 250.
Fun names.
That's what is it? Are you sure it's not just Wawa, or is it double Wawa?
Danny, I think you're reading it wrong.
Wah 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 wah.
I mean, there's 2 Wawas in the name.
Yeah,
It's
we
wah
wrote
wah
down.
wah 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 wah.
What are we doing? What is happening?
I don't know. I probably had a stroke while writing it.
Whoa!
I'm like the race is the Wawa 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 250.
I want to issue a correction. Someone in the chat noted, and I'm talking back to Reddit. No, I think Rick Allen is going to do the rest of the Xfinity Series races. The way the press release is worded, it mentions that USA coverage will end at Bristol, but then it just says CW will pick it up. So maybe it implies he's going to do the CW races as well. It's hard to tell. The press release is worded weird, so maybe Rick Allen will do the full season of
If we
Xfinity.
see him, we see him, I guess.
Yeah.
The Wawa 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 250 will be 100 laps, broken up 30 laps in stage 1, 30 laps stage 2, 40 laps in stage 3. Start time is 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Friday night, with this race being shown on USA and the NBC Sports app. You can listen to it on MRN and the Sirius XM radio station. Weather Friday night, high of 85 degrees, scattered thunderstorms, 50% chance of rain throughout the night. So, no, it may happen, may not happen on Friday night. So we'll just see. Defending winner of this race is Justin Allgaier, and the Truck Series race name is the Liuna 175. It's a 175 lap race. The stages broke up into 55 laps, and 65 laps. That race is scheduled to start at 4 p.m. Eastern time, with TV coverage on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. You can listen to it on MRN and Sirius XM. Weather for Sunday, high of 81, mostly sunny, 21% chance of rain. Defending winner of this race, something we don't get to say much, Grant Enfinger, the defending winner of this race. And as for the pick points, Chat's leading, 376 points, 9 wins total. Eric, you're second, 17 points back, 8 wins total this year. Jarrett, you're third, minus 25.
Well, I got to shut the dog up.
And I am hanging out as Basement Boy, 29 points back, 8 total wins. But Basement Boy, I'm only 29 points back. You can still put a blanket over all of us. We are still chugging away. It is still very, very close.
We are all in the lead draft. Yeah, that's right, Alessandro. Eric is closing in a little bit. Watch yourself.
Yep. Yeah, people don't know the B in Danny B stands for Danny Basement. I have gone literally all over this points this year. I started off leading, hung out in second for a while. I've been third. I've been basement. I've been back to second. I'm back in the basement. I have been all over this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I still see that belt behind you.
Yeah, well, I got tired of that hanging out at Jarrett's house, and I said I want it
back. Yeah. Well,
and now that we know that Puppy Dog is dangerous around diecast, I'm glad he's not there to bite the leather of the championship belt.
Good call. Good call. You dodged a bullet there. What's the pick orders? Jarrett going, he goes second, I guess.
Jarrett goes second. I go first, then Eric, and then Chat.
I guess we'll do the truck win pick first, even though their race is technically last this weekend. But should we wait for Jarrett? Should we just like awkwardly pass the time? How's your day going, Danny? How's your week been?
My day is going pretty darn nice. How are you doing, Eric?
My day's been
man
all right.
Wanted his damn bone in the living room.
Oh.
Well,
we have a gate. We have a gate.
He
now,
literally had a bone to pick of you, Jarrett.
We have a gate now, so like that, if he, in case we accidentally can't get home, he doesn't go to the bathroom where he's not supposed to. And I didn't realize we had the door closed, so he's like crying for the bone.
Tough. Well, you're just in time for truck picks. I think Danny's starting us off.
Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna go first, and my pick for the truck series is Christian Eckes.
Okay.
Eckes. Oh, wait, that's right. I'm next. Then I'll go Majeski.
I was torn between those two.
You probably got it right.
I don't love this pick this week, honestly. But I will go Corey Heim.
Time.
And what's the chat got?
Chat can't have 98. Can't have 11.
I see Norm Benning. There's two people for
die.
That's literally two people for Norm. Two different people for Norm.
I'm seeing a lot of 9s coming in. They might be going up to defending winner.
That's just an upside down 6 for Norm.
Yeah, I think you should give him Norm.
It's Grant Enfinger.
Yeah. All right.
Sure you don't want Danny die?
Danny die.
The Xfinity race, Xfinity Series, Daytona. Is it really that hard? Give me Austin Hill.
Boo.
It is that hard because Jesse Love, I think, is going to get it.
Jesse Love started off so good to start his year and just kind of fell off after that.
Who won Talladega?
Jesse Love, but still.
That was a long time ago, Jarrett. But
but that was the last similar super speedway.
I hate not being in the basement anymore because you guys get all the fun picks. I gotta pick up the scraps, and the scraps this week are Cole Custer.
Don't worry, I have a fun pick in case my first one gets taken for Cup.
Mm-hmm. I'm mainly seeing a lot of 7s, so I'm probably gonna give him Allgaier from the way it looks here.
That's valid enough.
Yeah, I mean, unless they want SVG.
Oh.
I think they want Allgaier.
Yep, give him Allgaier. Cup suck. Kyle Larson.
Oh, he's run better at these races lately. I don't know about that.
He's the best driver in the world, Eric. If he's not winning, he's sucking. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. Well,
this is a track that takes no skill. Remember that, Eric.
No skill. All right. I will go Bowman. Chat's probably going Larson as well.
Yeah, they're going Larson. Yep. Cup underdog. This one actually gets fun. And I happen to have his diecast right here. BJ McLeod.
Oh, I forgot he's in this race.
He's
That's
in
a
this
good
race.
pick.
They led laps at Talladega. If they can just finish it, good finish coming from BJ McLeod, I hope.
I remember how fast they were. That was I really want to see what he can do with a full race. But I'm gonna go Corey LaJoie. I know people don't like him, but he's still pretty solid at these super speedways. And he can get top 10, top 5 if he keeps it together. Top 5 in the 500. I believe top 5, fourth, right?
I am so tempted to pick this guy as my win pick because I believe in him so much. But I'll hedge my bets and go underdog. Todd Gilliland. Man led 74 laps combined between Daytona and Atlanta the first 2 weeks of the season. I think he won at least one, maybe two stages. He was in the mix at Daytona. He was in that top 5 or 6 when the Hendrick guys triggered that big crash. Todd Gilliland.
I've seen a fair amount of support for Justin Haley, but I think I've seen more support from the chat for Todd Gilliland. So I think they're in agreement with you, Eric.
Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. I legitimately thought about making him my win pick and just going all out, just like going crazy with it. But yeah.
But with that said, who do we think will win the Coke Zero Sugar 400?
Oh crap! I gotta get the. Here it comes. Here's the sirens.
That's just the hype siren. They're getting hyped up for the Cup Series win pick.
Who you got?
Fire up those fryers. I want chicken tendies. Come on, Kyle Busch. Let's go to victory lane.
I'll rev up those fryers.
All right. Oh my God, there's more. If it's not the dog making noise on the right hand of me, it's the people dying making noise on the left hand.
Oh man.
Wee woo, wee woo. I won't be able to use my fun pick then because my number 1 pick of Brad Keselowski is on the board still. I'm going to take Bad Brad. But I'll tell you my fun one after your picks.
Yeah, when we're done, I want to know your fun one.
Man, I was really betting on Brad still being out there. I didn't even write down another pick. Hold on a minute. Let me think. Who's out there? Who's in this race? I could go with SVG. That'd be pretty crazy.
It'd be boring and say Slick Bill Byron sweeps it.
Ooh, no,
Is there something important for Rick Hendrick at this race?
Wait, yep, that's a good point. Nope, there's not. It's just another Daytona race. Give me Ryan Blaney.
Is he not going to get taken out by the Ty Gibbs Reagan car?
Give me Blaney.
All right, who's the chat going with?
I actually had thought that Ty Gibbs might have also been someone I picked, but also I'm like, I'm not sure everyone wants to see Ty Gibbs get his first win in a Ronald Reagan car.
Well,
I love that it said on the entry list, Ty Gibbs, sponsor, Ronald Reagan.
Sponsored by Ronald Reagan.
I did a double take. I was like, who?
Those dollars still trickling down to this day.
Hey,
20 years later, man.
I will say I watched the trailer. Movie actually looks pretty good. I think Dennis Quaid plays him really well.
I love me some Dennis Quaid. Low key, one of my favorite actors of the 21st century.
What was that one movie he was in? My grandma and grandpa always had it on the TV because it was always on FX like every other night.
Day After Tomorrow.
That's
Parent
it.
Trap.
That's
I
it.
don't
Day
know.
After Tomorrow. Yeah, he was also in that one Dog's Life movie, which I will not watch because why would I want to watch a movie about?
He was
a
in
dog
that
dies
mega
over.
family movie, Yours, Mine, and Ours.
See, I think Mega Family. I think it's Cheaper by the Dozen.
He was
That's the one people think of, but then there's also that one.
He was in a crazy like Arca movie with Zac Efron.
Oh yes, that's right.
I watched it for like a podcast I was doing. It was not very good, but yeah, Zac Efron races at Iowa Speedway.
So,
Eric, for your bachelor party weekend, we need to find that and watch it.
So by the way, going back to the since we gave them time, it's between 17, 23, and 24.
Oh yeah, my bad. We hadn't gotten the chats vote yet.
They needed time because they were all over the place. Now they've kind of like gotten into a coalition here.
Sorry, what you're saying 17,
23, and 24.
I'll give them a poll.
So they didn't pick my fun pick. My fun pick because he's one of the most consistent drivers at Daytona and the next gen, and he's been 6th or higher, I believe, in the last 3 super speedway in the last 3 Daytona races was Alex Bowman.
17, 23, and 24.
Yep. Yeah, I actually think Alex Bowman will be in contention to win this one.
He might. I mean, he was right there at the end of the Daytona 500.
Nah.
Depending on who you ask, he won the race, and NASCAR just fixed it against him.
I say one. No, he won Chicago though.
What are we looking at poll wise? I think we're
pretty clear. And I told him, don't answer me. Answer Ronald Reagan, please.
Yeah, I guess we're getting political now.
Someone said Parker Retzlaff. That's right. He's in this field.
That's right. That's why I had to run Richmond.
I thought that was going to be your fun pick.
62. Well, no, you can't say it till we're done. I'm going to give them to get to 150 votes. They're at 131 now.
Well, I think the polls are kind of in at this point. It's looking like it's going to be that 17.
It's getting closer and closer.
Give him 10, 9, 8. Stop the count. 6, 7.
So
wait, 5.
Be a damn time.
4.
Come on.
We're gonna
Almost
need
there.
A runoff election.
46 on my end. I'll wait till I see 150.
I think we can call it.
Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it.
ABC News is calling the
48.
NWP poll for Chris Buescher.
The Texas native gets all one vote.
And it is Chris Buescher.
Or as Harvick would say, Chris Buescher. He says Buescher's
Brian
name
said
weird.
this episode feels drunk. It is definitely feeling drunk and off the rails.
Man, now that Rick Allen's gone, we won't have to hear about the 30,000 in Prosper, Texas.
Oh, man.
We will carry it on spirit.
Just, I'll tell you what, if Chris Buescher wins, chat, after the race in my post-race stream, just spam 30,000. Or just 30K.
Danny, you and I went to Prosper, Texas when you were here a few months ago.
I had dirty soda in Prosper, Texas.
That's funny.
Oh, you guys looking at finishing off this little drunk episode?
Yeah.
This completely sober drunk episode.
Read the rest of these. Them there super chats. All right. I tell you what, by golly. We ended off with Fred Dog 81 saying that Eric needed to run to Raising Cane's when he was having internet issues. We're gonna pick back up with Ross Crash Stain. Appreciate the $5 from you. All I'm gonna say, Ross at Daytona with nothing to lose. We might see Stenhouse levels of shenanigans. I think we'll break Stenhouse levels of shenanigans.
Bro, remember when Ross went flying in on the apron into turn 1 in the Daytona 500?
I remember that.
I think he was in a Spire car back then.
He was in 77.
What was he doing, man?
What
the hell?
4 wide?
What was he doing?
He was auditioning for a full-time cup ride is what he was doing. Mom 9898, appreciate you becoming a new member of DNB Superfans. Appreciate that. Rouser, appreciate the $2. Why do you think Chase has struggled since injury? He hasn't, but appreciate it $2.
But I don't know. I'm like, why is he not as consistently fast? I don't know.
I guess if you're asking why is he not winning consistently, you know.
I still think there's something to the fact that Ford and Toyota this year especially have caught up to Chevy because they have that new, in fact, probably have passed Chevy in many ways because they've got those new body designs. That's just my theory.
I mean, really, Hendrick in general, aside from Larson, they're not winning consistently. Like Byron was for a little bit, then he fell off. So
yeah, exactly.
Fred Dog 81, appreciate the $5. Not saying they struggle, but Hendrick hasn't won a cup race at Michigan since 2014. What makes it tougher for them to win there compared to other tracks?
Ford wins a lot. I don't know.
To be fair, I mean, Dale Jr. probably would have won if Kyle Larson didn't stay out in 2015. So they would have probably won that one. And then they were second at Michigan in 21, but the 550 package wouldn't allow Byron to pass Blaney.
Didn't Bowman have a really good year there 1 year or two?
Probably. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Reddick winning was the first Toyota win at Michigan since Kenseth. Is that right or is that wrong?
I thought that was the stat that was put out there.
2015, I believe Kenseth won.
I apologize. I'm not well
maybe 2016. I forget what year it was.
2015, I think, because they tried out that high drag package.
Yep, he had a pretty big spoiler back on the back.
That was an awful. They did that at Indianapolis that year too, and it was awful.
NASCAR 2414, appreciate the $4.99. Hey NWP guys, Michigan Xfinity Cup. Stupid that a car flipped over, not at a plate track. Early starts, please, if no lights with wet weather. Would agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
NASCAR 2414. Appreciate it. 999. Any of you guys been to or going to the Milwaukee Mile? John Ramus will be there. Anyone going? Milwaukee. Went to my first NASCAR race ever in 2003 for trucks and last year, 2005 and 2008 for Xfinity. I've never been to the Milwaukee Mile. Jarrett, have you?
No, but Riss has. That was her first NASCAR race. Was when she was little, and I believe she was at the
wow.
Eric Almirola race.
Ooh.
She had
cool. I
no
hope they're
idea
fun.
what was going on. She said she was on her DS for half the race because she was. Well, remember she was like, she's like a year younger than me. So it's like, if you're not interested, I get it.
And then Eric, I'm assuming you've never.
I've been to Milwaukee, not the track. Milwaukee's a nice town, I think.
All right, America.
Yeah,
I
I got passed through Milwaukee going to Road America. So.
I drove Eric through once.
I'm still furious. We're on the interstate or whatever road that is. And we're driving by the Milwaukee Brewers Stadium, and I'm like, oh, there's Miller Park. That's a cool looking stadium. Love that stadium. We get closer. It's not Miller Park anymore. It's like American Insurance Stadium or something awful.
You know what it really is, though? It's just Wrigley
I'm horrified.
North. It's just Wrigley North.
I saw a hilarious TikTok or Instagram reel the other day about their mascot, Bernie the Brewer. The TikTok was like, Bernie the Brewer is the laziest mascot in sports. Like, what the hell does he even do? And y'all just have to go watch it. The dude just stands out in left field doing nothing, and then whenever they hit a home run, he goes down a slide. That's all he does the whole game.
I love their like little brat mascot races though. Those are always
That's
fun.
good.
They're
That's
always
a good
fun,
one.
and it is a fun stadium to be in. Like, I'd
love to go into that stadium. I was just disturbed that it was no
Actually,
longer called Miller Park.
In 2016, I believe I went to a game up there, and there were these guys. There were like 8 of them, I think. Maybe it was 6. I can't remember how many, but they had like the zombie contact eyes, and they were dressed in black and white, like a black and white film photo, as the 1908 Cubs. And they'd go to like half the games dressed as the 1908 Cubs. And they're like, this is the year. This is the year.
That's funny.
It was cool. I saw them, and I'm like, I need my picture taken with them now. I'll probably pull that up on the show next week or something. Be like, I'll write it down right now. I'll see if I can find that picture.
Dying at Snappy's comment. What else do you want a mascot who's an alcoholic to do? Fall down the slide?
No, drive.
No.
NASCARson 2414. Appreciate the 499. Eric, have fun in Daytona. Are you going to all the races? Anyone else going to Daytona?
I'm planning to be at all the races. If it gets rained out to Sunday, I'll have to make a game time decision on my flight. And so, but hopefully everything happens. I'll be there.
The 42.
Sorry, the chat. The chat right after my drive comment is like just first one from Snappy. No, Jarrett. Infield like, yes.
Oh God.
I meant in the stadium.
Dominion 42. Appreciate the $5. I may have called the Xfinity flip back in January when they announced the Super Speedway package, but I didn't call a joy flipping again. New aero mod go burr.
New aero mod.
Andrew Winslow, appreciate the $5. I haven't heard this much talk about Kroger since I saw the Nickelback documentary on Netflix.
Do they talk about Kroger in that?
I'm not sure on the context.
Nickelback has a documentary.
You remind me of what I really.
Nickelback, that's another. They fall into that same like dad rock category that some of the.
They have a god tier cover of "Devil Went Down to Georgia."
Oh, do they?
Oh, it's awesome! Like you play the guitar, you play just the start of it with the guitar, and you like I'll show people, and they're like, "Oh, is this like the, it's like a new metal band or something?" No, it's Nickelback.
Take a look at this shopping list. Everything you can get at Kroger.
Look at this graph.
I did not know this. The lead singer's name is Chad Kroger.
He also used to. I think that he was married at one point to Avril Lavigne.
I think that is true, or they were together. He was a skater boy.
He said, "See you later, girl."
BGWX Chasing. Appreciate the $1.99. Any chance of an NWP car like Eric's out of the grid scheme? As of this time, no.
Probably not at this point, but I mean, never say never. That deal with Live Fast last year came together so perfectly.
We were literally living fast when it all came through.
I know, but life comes at you fast. But we'll see. Maybe some opportunity at some point down the line. Never say never.
In Dad Rock terms, it was a blur.
Awesome Blancet, appreciated $9.99. NBC is weird. They make good decisions like having no full screen ads for some races, but then they awkwardly pull Rick Allen from the booth. NBC also let Junior walk and are decreasing races on big NBC. I will agree. It's seeming a little odd with some of the directions that you see there.
It is true. Like the letting Junior go and some of like those feel like cost cutting measures a little bit.
And it's like, hey, at least at least try to get Junior on for like a 1 year contract or something like that.
But it's like, they're cutting costs. So then you would expect them, if anything, to increase the commercial coverage. Instead, they're actually going to decrease it and say, no, we're going to have no full screen green flag commercials. Like, I guess that doesn't really align, I guess, is their point. It is a little, NBC is a little weird for sure.
What will really be telling is during the race that Dale Jr. is racing at Bristol, will NBC acknowledge him much? Will they acknowledge that he was working there for the longest time these last few years?
That will be a little weird. Like Rick Allen, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8th, our former colleague, emphasis on former. Like, what is he
Get out, bum!
Let's dial up Dale on the radio. Oh, wait, we can't for contract reasons. Never mind.
Hey, Dale, how's that NDA going with NBC?
Yeah.
Hey, Dale wins the race, and they go. He gets out to do the interview, and his face is blurred the whole time, and putting a filter on his voice. So you just hear, and we're here at the winner. Beep. How did you do in today's race? Well, I had a great race. That's how it makes it sound.
They have him as a silhouette.
Yeah.
They purposely film him with like the light right behind him so you can't see his face.
They're showing the race and they're just blurring out make a little blur following his car the entire time, just blurring out Dale Jr.
All it is the low voice one with the light coming out behind, and someone turns on the channel. Oh my god, they're interviewing God. No, it's Redneck God. It's Redneck Jesus.
Instead of a trophy in victory lane, NBC brings him a new contract.
No, they bring him like a sheet of paper of like, here's all your expenses you owe us from last year.
Oof.
All right. Enough of the weird Dale Jr. fantasy scenarios we're booking here. Awesome Blance, I appreciate the $4.99. Austin Dillon has a chance to do the funniest thing ever this week. Just imagine what that would look like. I actually tweeted out after his penalty come in. I said all this just for Austin Dillon to win at Daytona again.
Let's just hope rain doesn't take out half the field.
Jupiter Rain, appreciate $2. Imagine Eric gets second 4 times. He is Mark Martin.
That's true. I'm writing a 3
he's
season
a Buffalo Bills at that point.
I cannot. I'm in second right now, right? I cannot.
Yep,
that's the last thing. I'm gonna. If I'm running second going into Phoenix, I'm picking. I don't know, Cody Ware. I'm picking.
However, you are a perfect number right now. You're 17 back.
That is true. Okay, that's fine. That makes it okay then.
Fred Dog 81, appreciate $10. Tired of Mother Nature messing with our races? We can show her a what for. By coming together, we can make the right choice in defeating her. Vote Cobra Commander and the Weather Dominator in 2024. This is it. This is the candidate I've needed all along.
I don't even know who he is. He's got my vote. If he can control the weather, he's basically controlling.
We say no politics, but that's a candidate that has our support, guys.
I'm voting.
That's a candidate.
He's saying
for
Mr.
all the
Frog.
right things.
I'm voting for Mr. Frog.
Kermit
Awesome
the Frog?
Lance, appreciate $1.99. Awesome Blast said appreciate $1.99. The Reagan car looks awesome. Argue with a wall. And then he put a little sunglasses emoji and an American flag emoji.
Tear down this wall. Didn't Ronald Reagan say that?
He did, yeah.
I'm just looking at the Family Guy thing.
Gorbachev.
I think of the Family Guy one where he's punching the McDonald's. Like, oh, that's Reagan. He'll just tucker himself off. Reagan smash. Reagan sleepy. No, I'm still on a Mr. Frog car.
Yours truly, Chris. Appreciate you becoming a member of Danny B Superfans. Third, appreciate the $2. Drive their enemies to the icy waters of Trasimene. I'm not getting the reference.
What? Hold on. Let me. Where's this super chat at? What is this trying to say? Drive their enemies to the icy water. I'll look it up. You can keep going. I'll look up what trisimine
Yeah,
is.
I don't get it. Bailey Riker, appreciate the $2, and this is the last super chat unless something else comes in. Why has Sammy Smith fallen so hard after his win? That's a good point. He so so Sammy Smith. Me and Claudia was actually talking about this week. I hate to say this, he is the most forgettable driver in the Xfinity Series. At the awards banquet last year, he comes walking up to me and front stretch guys and a couple of others, and we're all looking like we don't know who we're actually talking to. None of us recognized him. One person finally gets the balls to talk to him, and they asked him something as if he was the champion of ARCA. That's who they thought we were talking to. No one knew Sammy Smith's face, and afterwards, once we knew it, it was kind of embarrassing. Not kind of, it was embarrassing.
Ooh, that is embarrassing. The Battle of Lake Trasimene. It was fought when a Carthaginian force under Hannibal Barca ambushed a Roman army commanded by Gaius Flaminius on the 21st of June, 217 BC during the Second Punic War.
Guys, you're going to have to give us some references that we don't got to look up lore and history for here.
The battle took place on the north shore of Lake Trasimene to the south of Cortona and resulted in a heavy defeat for the Romans. Wow.
Awesome, Lancet. Appreciate another $4.99 from you. Mr. Frog, why are you so evil? You have 1 second to respond.
Hello.
I did that for you, Jarrett. Mr. Frog, 2024.
Hello. Hello.
I feel so out of the loop tonight. This has to be at least 10 references I did not get tonight, or at least took me several seconds to figure out.
Smiling Friends? I
yes,
don't know.
Mr. Frog is a great economic policy. I love it. Turn on the news. Doesn't matter what channel, you'll see.
So they said I did that for you, Jared. I assume those Smiling Friends.
Yeah.
I never.
All right.
Who sent the Roman War super chat? Did I get it right?
That was Ferg that said that.
I hope anyway, yeah, good show tonight, gentlemen.
Yeah, please. We appreciate the memes and references, but well, I'll let up. That was their very first super chat. They wait until now. Andrew Winslow, $2. Guess I'm all
oogly goo.
Whoa.
Bobby Blair, $1.99. I'll just like it. Thank you, Bobby Blair, with the Texans tighten up. Speaking of Texans, next week we will be not on Eric. We'll be on Jared's channel next week.
Yeah.
Go Vikings. We're on Jared's channel. Yay.
Hello.
Eric is so baffled. Correct, Jam plays games. Can we get back to talking about fried chicken? That's the one thing I actually understand.
Yes, please give us your fried chicken references moving forward.
I gotta show you the Smiling Friends election episode. It's 10 minutes. It's not like
I thought you were gonna say there's a fried chicken episode. I was about to be so excited.
No, but the world is run by worms.
You can't eat worms. I guess you can, but it's not good.
Chickens eat worms, and then they become fried chicken. So there we have that.
Wait a second, you're right.
Oh man.
All right, do it.
Yep, sounds good. Bye.
Thanks for hanging out.
Get out of here.
There it goes.
Danny said politely.
Drivers!
Dumbledore said calmly.
Start your engine!